Good afternoon and good morning, or good evening if you are across in Oz. It is so lovely to have your company on this Friday afternoon here in the UK. This is Softer Side of Life and my name is Craig Laird. I am on this presenter side and we're in a sewing show. Absolutely, who would know? Who would know? Saying that, if you've seen Wake Up Call, you've seen actually how intrigued I am as to what we've got on the show today. What I am going to say right off the bat, and apologies if you heard me say this time and time again, but if you were one of those, I'm going to be honest, quite a few of you that thought, I don't need a relatively new launch of our embroidery craft kit, then you've seen it being used and you've thought, darn, I do need it, so you've bought it. I would then pay great attention to what myself and, well, softer side, we know it's Becky. Becky's going to be showing you because it is a lot of fun. Even I'm intrigued with these ones that we've got on the show. Now, first and foremost as well, the other thing I want to say is there's no Crafters TV tomorrow. Boo. There is no Crafters TV. Sad for you at home. Good for
party
us.
Time for us!
Party! No, Sarah and Simon, very, very kind to do it once a year as a big thank you to all of us here, the whole company, certainly here on the UK side, to give us a summer party. The summer barbecue. We're going to be holding it tomorrow and they've wanted to make sure that everyone here has the option and the ability to be able to attend. So therefore, there will be no Crafters TV tomorrow. We will be back as normal on Sunday. Actually, the first show on Sunday, Colour Me Happy, is going to be with myself and Debbie Fisher. But just so that you know, tomorrow, if you are looking, there is no Crafters TV because, well, we're partying. Being honest with you, but it's a thank you from Sarah and Simon as well. So I just want to make that one clear to start with. Right, lots across on the crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.eu website. It is Friday, so we've got our £5 Friday, but we've also got the end of our summer sale as well. We've got oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of deals across on the website. Do check them out daily because new items are being added and some items are being taken off because you've bought them and they've sold out. So do make sure you check them out on a daily basis. You can see the details right along the bottom. We want you to shine bright this September. Doesn't quite work, does it? Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright this September. Yeah, it does work.
What's the next line of that song? No one knows, do they? Shine
bright this September with all the goodies up to 70% off.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is loads. You've got up to 70% off on crafty goodies across on the website and some items as little as £1, $1, €1. We do have Ben and George in the gallery, so we've got children running the show. So if you hear my voice or that go at any point, or even Becky's, that is because, well, children have been let loose. But joking aside, we do have lots of good crafty goodies on the show as well. We've got Susie T on the social, so do keep your comments coming in. They're already coming in thick and fast already. We will have a look. Details right along the bottom for you to send any questions, anything that you want to say, anything that you want to ask, just anything, give us a shout and we'll read them out throughout the show. But we do have a brand new launch. Becky, what is this launch all about?
These are our cut and stitch dies. So these are dies that you're going to be able to run through your Gemini. You're going to be using them with some felt. So it's going to be cutting shapes, but it's also going to be cutting little holes throughout them, like little perforations, to ensure that you're able to stitch really easily. These are a really good item for people that are just starting to do a bit of embroidery maybe. Great for kids, it's nice and easy, but you'll be able to mix and match them. They are absolutely beautiful, cut beautifully, and you'll be able to create some really lovely designs.
Absolutely, and that's why the name of the collection is Cut and Stitch. So we have got the details right now coming up on your screen for you to get a hold of. You can see right now. So we have got our Cut into Stitch multi-craft dies here, 48 dies in total, and you're going to be getting your 16 sheets of felt. Now, new launch today, saving 25%, £50.96 or $58.95 for all of that. If you are platinum, that comes down to £40.77 or 47.16. Now, if you can't quite reach to that full collection, which is at a phenomenal price as it is, when it comes to the dies, if you want to cherry pick 2 sets, you can get 2 die sets for £23 or $27. If you only want the felt, or you want additional felt, you can get that on its own as well. This is the rainbow felt, new launch as well, $15.99 or $18.95. So if you are wanting to go for that full launch, as I say, that is £50.96 or $58.98. No, it's not, 95. I'm 3 out. Where's Corin when you need her? Actually, I think I do need my glasses, Ben, today. Absolutely, yeah. There's been a few issues earlier on. All right, on Wake Up Call. Right, Becky, what can we be doing with these Stitch Multi-Craft dies?
So I've got a few samples here. That beeping was me. I don't know why my sewing machine switched off. But
oh, you're a robot.
I know, beep. You'd think with all the mistakes I'd make, I'm certainly not a robot. But these are absolutely great. So this is a little table runner that's been produced. And you can see, using all of those little designs here, they look really, really beautiful. So this is using the butterfly set. So all of these different shapes just come out of that one particular die collection. So you've got that sort of face-on butterfly, the side-on. You've got little tiny butterflies. You've got those butterfly trails, and you've got all those flowers as well. So really, really beautiful design, and they're really simple and easy to use. Or you could perhaps use them for decorating a little clutch bag. So you've got a kaleidoscope of butterflies there. I love that kaleidoscope of butterflies.
Nice,
and that looks really effective. Of course, you could use these for all sorts of different things. So some of the other items we've got here, we've got a little bit of hoop art. So this is your rainbow one, hoop art. I think, I was going to say it wrong, hoop art. They look really great. If you could have a few of these. My sewing machine keeps beeping at me. That's really weird. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. I kept thinking it was my phone, but it's not. So making some of these little designs that you could put up on people's, on walls, decorating your already makes that you're doing, perhaps doing something. As these are multimedia dies, perhaps you want to do something with card as well. You can absolutely do that too. So this is one that we've used for creating, just embellishing a quilt that's been made. So this is beautiful, brightly coloured fabric. And you can see we've just got these little hearts dotted around. So if you watched Wake Up Call earlier on, you saw me using those little hearts there. And just a way of embellishing something you've already got, not necessarily making it the key focal point of your item. We've got other ones here too. This one is particularly lovely with all of those little butterflies and the flowers. And those flowers and little butterflies come in that collection as well. So they look really, really cute. But once again, because you're going to be getting these dies with all those perforations inside, it means it's nice and easy to stitch. So if you've never stitched before, or you want to, actually one of my aunties had hurt her wrist, and she was told to do embroidery because it would strengthen the muscles in the wrist, because it's that kind of like fine motor skills that you'll be using. So actually it's quite useful. And like anything, the more we do something, the easier it becomes. You can see here a little tote bag that's just been sort of embellished with all those little hearts in those different designs. So you're going to get all those different kinds of hearts in that one heart collection. And this is my favourite, I have to be honest, because this is absolutely stunning. So this is a wall hanging that's been embroidered with like a kind of mandala there. And then all those flowers at the bottom, really, really lovely. Nice and simple. Really but you don't have to use them that way. You could use them different ways. So you could use them for bunting. So this one has just been cut. They've just cut the shapes out. And I've tangled them all up. And you've got a little piece of twine. You could hang these up for a kid's birthday or something like that. You can see you've got all of those little flowers and butterflies on there as bunting. If you don't want to stitch them together by hand, the way they were sort of meant to, you can actually just cut up the pieces like that we've done here, and we've stitched them with just a zigzag stitch on the sewing machine onto a piece of backing fabric, and you've created all of these lovely little rainbows. And then finally this one, creating a dream catcher.
Oh, wow.
That looks lovely, doesn't it? And this has not got, this has not got any requirement for you to be particularly good at stitching. You don't have to learn loads of embroidery stitches. You're just going to be able to do a simple sort of running stitch into those perforations. You'll be able to create things like this. So really well worth getting.
really is worthwhile getting all these different things that you can do. And let's not forget, these are multi-craft dies as well, so you could be using them with your cardstock and that as well, if you so wish. Right, got a couple of things I want to show you first of all before we go back to Becky and start demonstrating. And we've got our boho. Hey, I got that right now. Our So Boho and Enchanted Dreams fabric bundle. Now, you're going to get 2 fat quarters bundles, and you're going to get a 1/2 metre bundle for free. So this is what you are going to be getting. Now, straight off the bat, you can see how bright, how vibrant, how fruit salad these look. Really, really nice. So what you're going to be paying for is all of these ones here, and you're going to be getting a 1/2 metre bundle like that one there. $27.98 or $30.90. But if you are platinum, that does come down to $23.38 or $24.72. So just think of the things that you've seen Becky be making over the past few weeks and months, whether here elsewhere, and you can then start incorporating these ones into that. One of the things that really grabbed my attention, and it has actually been really quite popular, and I'm not surprised, it does work out as buy one get one free. So you're going to get both of them here. So these ones here, So Lovely multimedia die collection with 2 elements. So you've got your 2 die sets. $11.99 or $16.95 platinum for both of them. It's part of a Sarah Signature previous collection, and they are multimedia craft dies. $9.59 platinum or $13.56 for these ones here. Cut them out into your, of course, fabric, but what about into your cardstock or that, and do your freehand stitching design? Maybe your own little cross-stitch designs. You can absolutely do that. So there we go. That's one of my picks that really grabbed my attention. I really quite fancy going in with a needle. Any questions, anything at all, let us know. I can fire them across to Becky. Sewing questions, stitching questions, idea questions, maybe a few crafty questions in general, maybe what Becky's going to be having at the barbecue tomorrow, you know, if she loves a bit of party games, maybe something like that. Party games?
Oh, I'm very competitive.
Oh, see, I am.
Yeah. What kind of party games?
Yeah. Well, we could do, if we would take that bunting that you just showed you, we could do that, you know, I'm not going to bend back, so I'm still trying to be careful with my stomach, but the limbo.
Well, I'm not going to win on that, am I?
No? Okay.
No.
Just an idea. Yeah.
I thought there was a bit like a Ninja Warrior kind of situation going on.
There was last year.
Was there, really?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious after a few drinks.
Well, that's it. Yeah, of course, we do have to say, you know, drink responsibly, of course. However, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right as well. It is a lot of fun. But yeah, just to reiterate, just very quickly, there's no Crafters TV tomorrow. Sarah and Simon are throwing a summer barbecue party for all of us here that we can attend, just as a thank you for all the hard work that we put in. So that's what we are referring to. Yes, we've got Beth all saying hi. We've got Carletta. We've got Lynn all saying hi and afternoon. We have then got also Beth saying, enjoy the party, you have all earned it. Stephen is saying, you totally deserve it, have a fantastic time. The thing is as well, do you know what? We're the ones that you see on a daily basis, but it's everyone else that you don't see in the company that makes the show, makes everything work. So producer, you know, maybe vision mixing, you know, the guys in the office, just everything you see on screen is not down to us, it's down to everyone. So we've then got Linda saying hi, Rosalind saying hi, Charlotte is saying table runner is so cute, that would be a good idea. Aileen is saying hello from Puerto Rico. Tess, oh, the boho bundle is tempting. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. Beth is saying Craig is looking very quite dapper today. Thank you. This is actually, this is my presenter shirt. Oh, is it? Yeah, yes.
What job you're doing.
I do, but you may notice when I'm on this side, I only have that one. I've only got one presenter shirt. No, I like this one. Although I will have it later on in the craft along because I didn't bring in another top with me. But yeah, get your comments, questions, anything coming in. Becky, rightio, where we're going to start?
Right, so first of all, I'm going to talk about the felt. So I'm afraid if you watched the earlier show, this is all going to be something that you know already. But for those of you who are new to the show, now in the bundle, we've given you, we've put some of this new rainbow felt. This is much thicker than ordinary felt, ordinary. So this is a piece of felt, ordinary felt, and if I hold it, it just flops like so. This one stands upright because it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit more dense. And this is absolutely perfect for cutting out these shapes and doing that little embroidery. It's not to say that this ordinary felt over here won't work. This has just got a bit more substance to it. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to cut everything out. So you can just see, if I hold them like that, this one is just your normal kind of felt that we've used for flowers and all sorts of other sort of, applique kind of things. This one's a little bit thicker, a little bit more rigid. So that's just the difference I wanted to show you. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the different dies that we've got in here. So we've got 4 different sets of dies. I'll just use that piece of fabric here so you can see over the top. So they've got all sorts of different patterns in each one. Now for this one, for example, you've got your rainbow, you've got the outer die, which is going to cut the shape. And then you've got this die here, which has got those perforations, which are what you're going to stitch in between. So you can either cut out your piece of fabric and just not have any of those perforations by using this die, or you can use them the way they were designed by putting that perforated little die in the middle. So you cut out a whole section like this with those little holes in it to perforate. So it makes it easier for you to sort of stitch together. And we've got the same thing here with those clouds. So you've got a cloud with a perforation, you've got a raindrop with a perforation in here, but you've also got some other dies. So you've got this die here, which is just a perforation. So you can actually run this through the machine. You'll just get some little dots along your felt, and then you can chop your piece of fabric to whichever size you want to, so every width you want to. But you also get some other little dies as well here. Now do remember, all of these dies are multimedia dies, so you can use them for your paper craft as well if you wanted to do so. So that's your first one, that's your rainbow one. Then you've got the heart one, which we used quite a lot in the wake up call here. So once again, you've got lots of different designs, lots of different dies in here. So you've got these swirls here. What are they called?
Swirls.
Swirls. Swirls. There was another word I wanted you to say earlier, but I couldn't remember what it was. Swirls, pearls, squirrels, and there was something else. It'll come to me. You said it earlier on, but it'll come to me. And you can see here you've got some other hearts as well. So you could use this large heart, for example, and then you could pop some of these smaller hearts within here, like this, down here. I have a friend who's Turkish, and we used to work together working for an estate agency, and trying to get her to say thermostatic valve was quite difficult because it was a thermostatic valve. Thermostatic valve, yeah, quite good. So you can see you can use them for all sorts of different things. I love the way people say stuff, it's great.
It is funny.
I could listen to you all day, Craig, because it's like listening to, take the high road.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Then you've got your butterfly set here. So you can see you're not just getting, in each one of these, you're not just getting the main body of the dies, you're getting all these additional dies as well. So once again, you've got the outer edge of your die, you've got the ones with all the perforations inside, and you've got some other little dies to go with it. And then finally, you've got your flower one here. Once again, outer edge. One's a perforation, you've got your leaves. You've also got these ones which are going to be doing your stems. Again, you'll just be cutting those out. And then you've got these other pieces here. Now, when I was mentioning earlier on, you didn't necessarily have to use the outer die. What you could do is just run the inner die inside your fabric. You can see this one I've done here. Not all the perforations have come out, little holes. But if I'd cut this piece of felt to perhaps a square, and I was going to be using that in one of my designs, you can see it's given all these perforations, and you could just stitch across there to create that different design, and that makes something else that you can use it slightly differently to the way we initially planned it. But that's just one of those things you can do. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to run them through the machine. So I think we'll do some flowers because we did hearts earlier. Let's do some flowers. So we're going to take these. I'm going to use unfortunately, because I had such a fun time with all of these, I don't have a lot of the felt left. So I'm just using bits and pieces that I've already got because I just wanted to. I wanted to make sure.
Some of mine?
No, it's all right.
You
okay.
sure?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'll take the wrath of Tracy.
Will you share? Well, no. Tracy will shout at me. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. No. That's a big no for me. we're going to use our ordinary Gemini plates. So you don't need to use your fabric plates. If you've already got your fabric plates, they are wonderful if you're going to be using them for your multimedia dies for your builder blocks, but you don't need to worry about using them for this. Actually, this I found your normal plates are much better actually for this.
Well, actually, that's just a question come through to Tess saying, Craig, are those type of dies hard on the Gemini plates?
I find they cut better using the ordinary plates rather than the fabric plates. It could be an idiosyncrasy of my machine. I just find that they work better. So yeah, I'm full of great words. Thanks for that. Idiosyncrasy.
Ben just complimenting Becky on our use of great words.
I love a cute word, idiosyncrasy. Right, we're just going to do a few of these. I'm actually going to, even though I'm not going to be using the, you know, you'd want to be cutting out the stems out of green, but there's nothing to stop you from doing that. So we're just going to cut a few bits and pieces out here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my clear plate, then I'm going to be taking my metal shim, and then I'll put my fabric down, and then I'm just going to lay these all out, and I'm going to tape them down with my low tack tape. So what you just need to be careful of, because you're sort of interlocking these two dies, you just want to make sure they're in the right place. Do tape them down. Don't do what I do when I was being lazy and just thought, oh, I'll just shove them through, because they did move, and I did end up with a little bit of a, you know, one of the dies went on top of one of the others, which is something that none of us want to do.
Yeah, and even although it's fabric underneath, not paper, your low tack tape will still hold the dies and that in place with the fabric.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well.
So we'll just do a few bits of tape here. And the reason we're using felt is because whilst you could use them for cutting out on ordinary cotton fabric, what you will find is where the perforations are, you end up with little tiny, you'll end up with little unclean cuts, as it were. You don't get any fraying when you use felt, so it's much better to use. So I'm going to be using my plastic shim over the top, and then my clear plate.
Okay.
Oops.
Linda's actually saying, good morning, Becky and Craig. What a wonderful day. It's nice, isn't it? I'm really enjoying having this, the touch of sewing. You know, it's not something I do a lot. The closest I do is cross-stitching. You know, it's been a while since I've done one. Ben's actually just asking if I've done a softer side show. I've been in part of one where maybe I've been doing a paper crafting demo or something like that, but no, never actually done a softer side show. And it's nice, it's interesting. And even more interesting, the fact is you can translate them through to your paper crafting.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing to be able to use them for lots of different ways, definitely. Yeah, we'll make, but you do like to sew, like you say, you like to do a bit of sort of
I'd love to know
cross
the
stitch and that kind of thing. So just, yeah. Ben's
asking, you know, if I find cross stitch easy to do. That I do. I don't do big, complicated ones. They are quite small, but you know, I know obviously the Aida and the threads and etc. You know, I know that sort of stuff, and that's why I think this collection, Becky, is really shouting out to me, because you've got that element to it.
Well, that's the thing. It's very simple to do, and I think sometimes with embroidery, because there's so many different stitches to learn on embroidery, people are a little bit reluctant to give it a whirl. And actually, this is really, really simple. So this is the one that I said was just perforations. So this is effectively going to make our stems. So I'm just cutting around the edge. So I can make this as thick or as thin as I wanted to, and it gives you a little bit of flexibility because you don't have to worry about the edge being completely right side. So we've got a few other bits here, over here. So as you pull them apart, you'll see that the perforations, you may end up with the little holes, little pieces of felt inside them. You just need to give them a bit of a wiggle, and they will come out. If you've got a couple that are a little bit stubborn, you just need to use a pin to remove them, but it's fairly easy to get them all out like that. And this next one here is your little flower. You'll see when I've done 2 layers of fabric, you often find that the perforations come up on off on the bottom layer, which makes it a lot easier if that's the only one that you're using. But I would definitely say when you come to cut these, cut 2 layers at a time. Don't bother just cutting one.
No.
It just cuts better with 2 layers, and it also means then you've got 2 of those flowers or whatever you're cutting at the same time. So we just need to give these a little bit of a wiggle, and they will all come out. You can just see they're all moving here. We've got this one over here. That's come out more or less perfectly on that strip there. So I'll just pop these to one side. So you can see all those little bits and pieces that we've cut. It's very, very simple to do.
Yeah.
And this is what makes it a great activity to do with kids.
Yeah.
Because obviously with the Gemini, you don't have to worry about, you know, any little fingers getting trapped in there. And you don't have to worry about any scissors being used, because at this stage, all the sort of cutting out is done for you. So it makes it nice and simple and easy to sort of get started creating something.
See all these tiny, tiny, tiny little bits that pop out?
Yeah.
Could you keep them and use them as shaker elements, or
You could do. You could.
something like that?
I don't know how shakeable.
Yeah,
You
like it's
bits
it might be a soft shaker. Maybe it wouldn't make that rattle noise, would
No.
it? But you know, a little soft shaker.
What I've done is a special treat, because it's John's birthday today.
It is.
I've put them all on the floor as a special treat for him. Or is it tomorrow his birthday?
Birthday tomorrow.
Pre-birthday
yeah.
treat. Yeah, I've put all of these on the bottom on the floor for him to clear up. Yeah, that's what he said he likes. You know, he likes to clear up after me, and yeah, that's exactly how it is. There you go. Right, so we're just going to put those to one side here. I'm just going to. John didn't see that. Right, so you can see we've got these bits and pieces here. Now, when you want to pop them onto your fabric, what I would suggest that you do, you either use some of our glue. So we've got some of our textile glue that we had on the show earlier today. I'm just looking for my little bottle. Have you got a bottle over there?
I do indeed. Do you want to borrow mine?
No, it's all right. I'm not going to glue this one. I would just put a couple of dots of glue on the back, and then I would stick that onto whichever item I was going to be stitching, just so it doesn't move while you're stitching. But once you've put a couple of stitches in, it will stay where it wants to be. Now, what I've started doing is a little cushion cover using these. Okay. So I've already cut them out, and I've already started stitching them, as you can see, because obviously the stitching part takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You would have noticed that, you know, when I was doing it earlier on, it takes a little bit of time to do. But you'll see it's quite simple to follow the patterns of all of these here. You've definitely got a particular line here where you've got the flowers. You almost sort of go around the outside, and then you create the little petals inside too. Yeah. This one here I haven't bothered doing anything with, but what I could do is I could just stick one of these parts in the middle with a little bit of glue over here. John's giving me a really dirty look. Oh, you've missed your surprise. I've got your birthday present here. It's all the mess that I've made from all of these dies. So we've got, so what I'm going to carry on doing is I'm going to carry on doing a little bit of stitching here. Now with these, what I've used is the full thickness of embroidery silk. So normally when you buy embroidery silk or embroidery thread, it's 6 strands. You generally would use 2 strands at a time, but we're going to be using full 6 at the moment, because you can see this is quite a thick, these holes are quite sort of large, and so you need that kind of thick line. Two threads or 2 strands is not significant enough for you to be able to see how they're going to look on here. So you definitely need to use 6 strands. And all I've done, if you see on the back, I haven't even put a little knot. I've just left that little piece loose. I will trap it underneath my stitching as I get round to it, but I'm just going to do effectively a little bit of back stitching. Okay. So if I just hold this out here, what I would do is I will just show you. So we're just going back on ourselves each time through those little perforations, and then out through the next one in front. So you're just pulling it. You're just doing a really simple stitch. So this is when I was saying, you know, you don't have to worry that you don't know how to do a lazy daisy stitch, or, you know, a bullion knot, or all of those kind of things, those words that you hear if you do embroidery. It is just a simple stitch going in and out of those perforations, and that's what makes it super, super easy. So much so, Craig, I've got one for you to play with.
Have you?
I have. Shall I find it for you? Give me 2 seconds. I've hidden it.
Seriously, have you?
There it is. Yeah, I have. I've got one. So I've got this for Craig to do. So Craig, I'm going to come over and give this to you.
Yeah.
So you can have a go.
Awesome.
So don't think anything about you.
I know.
Always thinking of you, Craig. So you can see how easy it is to do. And how, not that I'm saying that Craig wouldn't be able to do anything complicated, because that came out wrong, didn't it?
Well, look, if Ben can do tri-blend colouring yesterday in the craft along, and I can do a little sewing like this, absolutely.
Well, in actual fact, we did a show, and I did a bit of colouring with you, didn't I?
That's right,
yeah, long time ago.
Yeah.
So I've returned the favour. So you can just see, we're just sort of stitching it around the outside. So I'm just going to do a couple more stitches here, and then I'm going to finish that off.
Okay.
Right there. So you can see how they all look. Now with these here, these are your stems. These are your stems that I've cut out before, you know, with that perforated edge, point, and then you just cut around the edge. You just do that to make them as thick as you like.
Yeah.
Or as thin as you like. How are you getting on, Craig?
I'm getting on fine. My one of my threads is just frayed down, so I'm just going to
Now you're going to have to try and thread a needle on air, which is one of the worst things you'll ever have to do.
Done.
Oh.
No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
I always find it as one of the hardest things to do. There we go. So I'm just going to finish off at the back here, because I'm not going to carry on, because I'm going to start making the other part of the cushion. But what I will do here is I will get this here. So what I've done, I've used some of the fabric that we've got, the fabric of the week, which is the grey dash, I think. Pale dash, and I've just taken a panel of fabric which I've used here. Now, generally speaking, when I'm doing these, I tend to use a little embroidery hoop because it's much easier, which is the hoop that I've given to Craig at the moment.
Can you say that again?
Huh?
Hoop.
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 I like the way you say that.
I like the way you say it.
Hoop.
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 Hoop. I don't think I say it any differently to
hoop.
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 Ha. Sometimes I'll be talking to Brent, and Brent's got no idea what I'm saying. And I was like, I don't have an accent, but apparently I do.
No one has any idea what Brent ever says.
So we've got two sections, two strips around the outside, just down here. And then we're going to take two other sections, and I'm just going to attach those to these sides as well. So I'm making a really, what I would call a down and dirty cushion cover. Oh. Down and dirty, because it's quick and easy the way I'm going to be doing it. So I'm just going to change the foot on my sewing machine.
Okay. So I'm going to set that to the side for a second. So when we've got a minute, what we can do is we can have a look at a few bits. Let's have a look at some of the fabrics. Will we have a look at that dash? The dash, yeah? Okay. Dashwood Studios. Let's have a look at that one very, very quickly. So I think I've still got them in order from earlier on. So here we go. We have got Pale Dash. Okay, so we're going back to front. And here was me. After Wake Up Call, I sorted them and went back start to end. Well, earlier on in Wake Up Call, you started from there, so... Dash. Sorry, we're just having a little argument, just live on TV between myself and Ben. It does happen. You know, yes, we have some fun and banter. You know, sometimes we do have an argument.
He gets quite grumpy, doesn't he? He gets quite grumpy in here.
By the way, just to say, you're not missing out on anything Becky's doing. She's just getting herself sorted, so please don't think as well you are missing out. So we are having a look at Pale Dash here. So we've got our Pale Dash, you know, with your greys in the background, with your navies, you've got your peaches, got your little bits of browns. These ones, $7.49 or $10.99, price per half metre. We've
80s actually. One, isn't it? Yeah. I think because of the grey and the pink.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like my bedroom in the 80s.
Works well, doesn't it? Works well. That one being the mustard circle, because it's mustard colour and you've got little circles, which you've got the birds in flight in the middle of these ones. Really, really good. All of these are the same price, $7.49 or $10.99 per the half metre. We've then got our navy spot. That's a really lovely one, really deep navy right in that background, going on a really dark grey as well. That one there's like little paint splodges. You've got that one there, navy spot. We've got large flower that we can see on this one here. That's really, really pretty here, even just with your little foliage designs just popping out the back there. Large flower. We've also got flight. So we've got flight on this one here, but more of a pinky sort of tone in the background with the mustards coming through there. $7.49, $10.99 per the half metre. We've got the water lilies within this one here, that really lovely light grey right in the back. It's like a nice grey too from the Classic range. You can see it on the back there. All working beautifully well together and complementing each other. Last but by no means least, we've got our cream swan. You can see there, it's exactly that. You've got your cream colours, but with the swan designs all the way throughout. All of these ones, $7.49 or $10.99. If you are platinum, it comes down to $5.99 or $8.79 per the half metre. So you can go larger if you want, but every half metre is $7.49 or $10.99. If you do order more, then it will come to you in a continuous roll. Is that right, Becky? That's right, yeah. So it won't, if you order more than one, let's just say, you know, the navy spot, you know, if you order a metre, it'll be the metre you get, not 2 half metres.
Yeah,
Got
that's
you.
right.
Just want to make sure. Excellent. Keep the comments coming through. They're coming in thick and fast, but what I'll do is we'll hang fire for now, and we can go back to Becky and see which is the way to do first.
Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding these 2 other sections. So I've just pinned them right sides together, and I'm going to stitch along 1/4 inch down here. So this is the time, if you've got a 1/4 inch foot on your sewing machine, it's worth popping it in here. But I'm just going to stitch down, and I know I've got really brightly orange thread, but it doesn't matter because I think actually you can see better. I mean, obviously this is not the thread I'd be using if I was going to be finishing this off properly. I would be using a white thread, but you can actually see what I'm doing with that brighter colour thread in here. So I'm just stitching along the side, and going to stitch along each other side as well. And it's just a quick way of making a cushion. So without all of the fiddling around, it makes a really sort of quick and easy cushion here.
I suppose there's lots of things you could be making with it, couldn't you?
Well, with the fabric,
yeah.
Well, there's loads. I mean, I love the fabric. I think it's really, really pretty. I've seen it once before, and I was totally in love with it. And sometimes when I get the fabrics, they come through and I think, I don't really want to use these. Not because I don't like them, because I don't want to use them, I want to keep them.
Well, that's exactly like in paper crafting.
Do you think?
When we get our paper pads, there's sometimes I think, I don't want to use them. I want to keep them, and I use them. If I do use them, it's for very, very, very special occasions or special people in my life. Ow.
So I felt a bit like that. So when I bought Winter White last year, which you've got on the craft along, haven't you?
I do indeed.
I didn't want to use it,
no.
and in fact I haven't really, because, and I think we talked about this, because it sold out so quickly. There weren't that many demos.
No, there wasn't.
So I'm quite excited that there is another demo. Having said that, I probably still won't want to use it because I like it so much. It's so pretty.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing, just to touch upon what you said there. That's why on one of my Facebook Lives from home, many people said they'd love to see Winter White. Because it had sold out that fast last year, very little inspiration. So that's why I want to include it with the craft along later on.
Good idea. So I've just stitched down here, so you can see I very, very quickly made that kind of panel here. And then to be even more quick, I'm just going to trim these with my rotary cutter and my ruler down the edge here, just to sort of neaten them off, and then on this side as well, just to get rid of those. And then I've just done an envelope back for the rear of the cushion, which makes it nice and easy to put this together. And this again makes it nice and simple for somebody who perhaps hasn't done much sewing before, doesn't really know what to do or how to sort of put things together. If you're going to be putting a zip inside a cushion cover, that can be quite difficult. Not difficult, it's more of a challenge.
Right.
This is a quick and easy way of creating a cushion cover. So I'm just going to trim down here. In fact, I might as well trim it all by scissors anyway. So I'm just going to fold this out here, and I'll snip off these sections.
When it comes to paper crafting and your pattern papers, we keep our offcuts. Do you do the same with fabrics?
Yeah, so with these tiny pieces I won't, but anything kind of that kind of size I tend to keep.
Right.
But again, it's one of those things, I've just got so much.
Yeah. And
I've got paper as well. I've got paper and I've got card as well. I need a different room for every craft that I have, Beads as well. I love a bit of beading, bit of jewellery making. I've got everything you could possibly imagine in my house. Cake making,
Ooh.
the whole lot, the whole lot. And I think, you know, you don't, especially fabric can be quite expensive, especially you have a, you know, something like Liberty print, for example, where, you know, it's probably pricier than normal fabric. So therefore you sort of want to make the most of every single piece that you have,
Yeah.
that you can possibly have. So now this is the back of my cushion. So I've already cut these little pieces out, which are, actually look, this edge is too big here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay these out, and I've finished around the outside. I just folded that over. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Oh, it's a bit of a mess around here.
That's okay. I've run out of thread.
Oh, do you want some more thread?
Yeah, have you got some more thread?
I've got loads of thread.
Have you?
I've got loads. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Right.
So, like, if I put that, so what
That looks
done,
great.
so I've done this bit here and this bit
Yeah.
here. So a little bit more of that fuchsia,
And you
and maybe the baby pink
You
or
can
something.
see how quick it is to
It
put
is.
together, isn't it?
And I'm not being funny, and I'm only going to say this because I know so many of you at home. I was doing that and speaking at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm. Just pointing out the obvious. But yeah, you,
for a man to be able to multitask. Oh,
I wasn't going to go right in there, but you know.
no, but it is true, isn't it, that we all multitask.
Yes.
And you do have to
Keep
be able to multitask as much as you possibly can.
Keep digging.
And generally speaking, the men that I know are not very good at multitasking, apart from the men that I know here.
Mm-hmm. That's why I love it. Anyway, I'm going to move because I really will be just pushing her off the screen in a moment. She's already just behind the details. Thank you for that one,
That's all
Becky.
right.
I'm going to go back across and I'm going to carry on while having a little chat to you
Excellent.
about what we're doing.
What, multitasking?
I'll just try not to step over your mess.
I know it is a huge mess. I'm glad nobody can see below here. So what I've done is I've taken these two pieces of the navy spot here. I've just folded that edge over just to finish it off. And these are going to be the pieces that overfold each other, and they create like a bit of an envelope. So I'm going to put them like this. So we want them right sides together. And we're just going to do that. And we can put right sides together here as well. So you can see that creates that little fold across. Now I'm just going to make sure that I've got everything lined up. You see, it's actually a little bit too big here.
Yeah, you
and
can
I've
just
done that
see
deliberately, just so I can trim that edge off. I did that deliberately because I was just trying to be quite quick when I was putting it all together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew all the way round the outside, round the outside, like so. But I'm going to pin it all together first of all. But you obviously don't need, because you're not going to be turning out through like a little gap, because
Yeah.
you've got this envelope piece here. You're able just to stitch all the way around the outside here. So just pin those together.
I suppose
like
the thing to think of is, and we don't like touching upon this a lot, but like everything in the world with
Yeah.
paper, you know, paper's getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
Fabrics are going to be the same. If not, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe then fabrics could be getting even more expensive than papers.
Yeah, I mean, I think fabric at the moment is more expensive
Yeah.
than paper. And I think that's one of the things that when you're starting a new craft, starting with paper craft is relatively affordable in comparison to starting with fabric. Whereas if you buy, say you buy a pattern and you buy fabric and you're going to make yourself a top, it will easily cost more than it would do if you were going to be buying that top.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be something that's a bit of a labour of love. So it's definitely more expensive to do, definitely. And it probably will continue to be more expensive.
That's the thing, yeah.
But it's quite a nice sort of activity for you to do. And this is, you know, being able to make the use of all of your fabric that you do have is definitely worth doing. You know, using all those tiny scraps that you've got. Which is why these little dies cutting them out of all those little tiny bits of felt. Now you can see I've had a bit of a whale of a time using all of those, and I've used up so much of my felt. I had a whole big pack. I've hardly got any left, but I've kept all those tiny bits because actually they're great for the odd piece I might want to do. I might only be able to fit 1 or 2 flowers, cutting those out, but it's worth keeping hold of them. And it's a bit like where we've talked before, where we've had like a Totally Tiffany show perhaps, and you're looking at all those little places you can store all those tiny scraps of fabric or card or paper that you've got. If you spent the money on them, you want to make the most out of them, don't you? You don't want to be throwing them away. So I think this is worthwhile getting and using, so you can make the use out of all of those bits of felt that you've got hanging around. And let's be honest, at Christmas, felt decorations seem to be quite key. So if you've ever bought any of our dies that we've had before, we have some nativity dies to be made out of felt. You may have bits of felt that are left over. You could use these multimedia dies with those as well.
Funny you saying that, because last year in stores, I started to see a fair few more fabric baubles and ornaments and that, and because that was last year, I'm assuming that we're going to see that keep running through into this year as well. Yeah. So even be making your own with some of these fabrics. They might not necessarily Christmas theme, but then think of the colours. If you're going for the muted colours or navy colours or that, why not incorporate them? I
mean, I don't know what the colour for Christmas is this year, because last
year
it was blue,
actually either.
Which I was delighted about, because obviously all my stuff is blue that I do. So it was quite nice to have the colour of the year to be, or colour of Christmas was like a bright blue, and it's quite nice to have something a bit different. Yeah. I've bought the Frosty and Bright collection, and I think those kind of turquoises and pinks, they're going to be my colours for this year. Yeah. You've got that on the craft along as well, haven't you?
I do indeed, the craft along. I'm going to be using, as well as the Christmas nesting dies. Nesting dies, predominantly it's going to be decorated with our Frosty and Bright cardstock and pattern paper. So yeah, we do have it on the show.
I wish the viewers could hear what was going on in our ears, I know. Because it becomes progressively more and more difficult to keep a straight face listening to the...
You are, Becky, doing a great job.
I'm just trimming around the edge here. So I'm just getting rid of, when I said I'd actually made it a little bit too big, that front panel, I've not done any measurements. I'm just doing everything by eye, and I'm just trimming this edge out. So I've stitched all the way around the edge. And then where I get to the point, I just want to trim off that corner like that, so it can fold out really easily. And we're just going to turn everything out the right way, like so. So we're just going to do that in a second.
And you might have, other fabrics, but you could then easily be following what you're doing, Becky, but with other fabrics.
Yeah, and this is the kind of thing, if I was going to be making a cushion with somebody that's never sewn before, this is something that you would be able to do really, really easily. So we're just turning everything out the right way. So you can see, because we haven't got any poppers, we haven't got any zips, it's just literally an envelope back to it. It makes it nice and simple. So I'm just going to pull out those little corners. Again, you might want to pull them out with a chopstick to make them really sharp, but you've got that envelope backing, so you just pop your cushion inside here and that folds over, and then you've got your
That is so fun, isn't it?
With those little dies.
Really, really good. And then you can be doing exactly what Becky's done with maybe other fabrics that you've got, but she's been using the cutting to stitch multi-craft dies, where you're getting the 48 elements in total, 16 sheets of felt as well. All of that on your screen you're going to get for £50.96 or $58.95. When it comes to that new launch today, you're going to be saving 25%. That is, as I say, $50.96 or $58.95. Platinum comes down to £40 £47 or $47.16. If you just want to go for 2 of the die sets, you can do that, 2 for £23 or 2 for £27. Equally, if you just want to go for the new rainbow felt, or you want an extra one, £15.99 or £18.95 when it comes to you guys stateside, also new for today. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak in a few items that we've got left over from yesterday. I'm not surprised that this was one of the most busiest item of the day yesterday. And when I found out from Katie through in the office that we still had some left, I thought, right, I'm going to sneak it in, and Ben agreed. So here we go. The paper library. This is your paper library. Now in total, you're going to be getting 150 sheets of pattern paper. 10 mini collections it's broken down to, but you've got the whole library as well. Not going to go through it all. I'm just going to show you you've got all the dividers inside. £45 or $49.98. Platinum comes down to $39.20 or $43.20. Really, really handy to have in your stash. Ample room for you to then pop more of your pattern papers, or maybe fold up your fabrics and you can store them in there as well if you want to. You could definitely do that. Then we're going to go in, I'm sneaking in another one that we've got very little left, but I want to give you the opportunity to get a hold of it. This is my hot pick, the adhesive bag. So what you're going to get, everything for £20 or $30. Platinum, you're going to be £16 or $24. You've got your 6 sheets of your self-adhesive double-sided sheets. You're getting your 3 reels of your low tack tape, a full top of your tacky glue. You're also going to get a full 22-metre length tape runner. These are just back in stock. Had to twist an arm, but I managed to get this in the bag. And let me tell you, I done a lot of twisting for this one. By the 4th email, I eventually got the okay to put them in, and that is our Stay Sticky pens. You get your ballpoint chisel, and you've got your fine nib as well. All of these ones, this one alone is worth £9.99. That is in there. Everything I've showed you there, you're getting for £16 or $24 platinum price. Last but by no means least, we have then got our hanging ornaments. These, as a hanging concept, have been so busy. You are paying £11.60 platinum or $15.60 when it comes to you guys stateside. If you're not in Club Inspire, £14.50 or $19.50. You are getting 2 of your hanging ornaments, but then what you've also got is all these embellishment dies where you can create more hanging objects in the middle, well, with tiny little dies, and you can make things such as these. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Really, really lovely. All of that die set that you're going to get, $14.50 and $19.50. Right, go along, have a look on our website. What I've just shown you there, as well as items still available from our cart load last night. Head on our website, shop the days where you're going to find everything from today, everything from cart load. We're going to come back, have a wee look at your comments before we go back to Becky. But until then, go and check out your baskets and have a look at this.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people, and we know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer but come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Got really intriguing question for Becky from Debbie. Debbie Mann is saying, question for Becky.
Yeah.
What is the beautiful pinkish salmon covered gemstone in your ring?
I'd like to say it was a pink diamond, but it isn't.
No.
It's a tourmaline. A tourmaline, like an aquamarine, but actually, according to Becky, so when I had this, and then suddenly...
This is not Gems TV,
no, I know.
The jewellery channel.
Where's my ruler? Because I normally have a ruler there. But I had this, and then suddenly, J-Lo got one. So I was like a trendsetter.
Bet your J-Lo's a follower of yours, though.
Yeah, of course.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't she?
I was invited to the wedding and everything and couldn't come, so I was working.
You couldn't go, no? Oh, I think we just caught you, although your mic's just gone. But there we go, Debbie. There we are for you that was wanting to know that. Terry Norris is saying, joining here a bit late from Georgia, USA. What kind of felt are you using? It looks thinner than normal. Actually, Becky did explain that earlier on in Wake Up Call. We'll ask her again just when she comes into our next demonstration. Judy is saying hello from Missouri. Mary Pat is saying good morning everyone from sunny Montana. Question also from Joanne. We'll ask that just in a minute when Becky is up and running. Beth is saying Craig is a real Renaissance man. Because I'm doing everything. I'm like a new man.
I was expecting you to be reclining, partially clad with some grapes. Yeah.
See, when you say Renaissance, I just think of our gilding wax now. It's the first thing that comes into my mind. Just quickly, so I know you've got loads to share, Becky. Joanna's saying, just got here, sorry if this was answered. I make purses and totes. Could you cut these directly into the cotton fabric panel of the purse and embroider that instead of working with the felt?
Yes, you could. All I would say is you'd probably want to put a little bit of spray starch on the cotton just to give it a bit of more stability, because obviously when you're cutting in those tiny perforations, they may not cut perfectly because of the way the fabric is put together. So you sometimes get a bit of fraying. So I would use some of our fabric stabiliser perhaps, spray that on the cotton first of all. But yeah, you absolutely could do that. I just might need a little bit of might need to put an extra sort of shim of some card maybe in when it goes through the machine. Just give it a few tries.
Brilliant, thank you for that one. There you go, hopefully that helps you. Joanne, a couple more before we move on. We've got Judy saying, Becky needs to sew us a pokey tool cushion so they don't get lost so easily.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm in a couple of weeks' time. I'll make sure I do a pokey tool cushion.
That's a good idea. I like that because I've got loads of them, as you know. Angela says, pretty applique. Judy is saying, nice make, Becky. Love the combo of the fabrics. Did work well, doesn't it? Really did work well. And Eva's saying, another great use for chopsticks, Becky. I may have to invest in a few. Yes. Poking out the corner there when you're turning it inside out. Right, what we're going to do very quickly before we go back to Becky here, 2 collections from Visible Image. They're back in an hour. We have now, that's not so. So the one that I'm away to show you right now, the no filter, a quarter of this stock has gone. So this is where you're getting the no filter stamp set, you're getting the bold enough, and you've also got the background vision. Quarter of the stock has gone, 25% gone. Mark is back in an hour to show us some more demonstrations. And then the other collection where a quarter of the stock's gone, also from Visible Image, is our brand new 3-pack stencil. So we've got our off the grid, we've also got the A to Z, and we've also got the branching out. This is a 3-pack, and that is brand new today on Crafters TV. Also a quarter of the stock's gone for that one. And a question, because I've heard about this, but Becky, what is a build-a-block?
This is our build-a-block of the week. You haven't been here for that?
No.
No, this is the build-a-block of the week. I feel I miss out because everyone else has got a song and I didn't have a song, so I created. This is especially going to get from me. But yeah, this is our build-a-block. Now, the build-a-block. Have you seen the build-a-blocks before?
I've seen it sitting on our prep tables and our units and that, but and I know it's in like a drawer system. Yeah, but that is it.
That's it. Okay, these are revolutionary in terms of doing patchwork. These are absolutely an amazing product. I'd not seen them before I came to work here. When I'd been doing patchwork before, I was using a rotary cutter, I was using perhaps an acrylic template, and I was using a ruler. These really are a game changer because you've got in here, so this is your Build-A-Block Plus. So we have the original Build-A-Block and we have the Build-A-Block Plus, and we've got loads of other Build-A-Blocks in different sizes, different shapes, all sorts of different things. So basically, they are dies that cut your fabric, and they will cut 8 layers of fabric, no problem. So from the point of view of as a patchworker, particularly for things like triangles and squares and rectangles, you'd cut hundreds of them in order to make an item. But you don't have to worry about that because you're going to pop them through your Gemini with all that fabric. Everything's going to be cut out perfectly. You've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance already taken into consideration. Now, if I show you a couple of samples here.
Yeah, please do.
So we've got, this is a sample of a quilt. So you can see here, that seemed a little bit basic, didn't it? This is a sample of a quilt. Of course it is. But you can see you've got lots of different triangles on there. If you'd had to cut those by hand, you would have been there for hours in order to do that. But probably, just having a quick look, I reckon 5 passes through the Gemini, and you would have got all of these cut out. So very, very simple, very easy. So this Build-A-Block is this particular one. This one has your isosceles triangle. I'm reading it in Spanish on the side of the box. My Spanish isn't very good. So you've got isosceles triangles, you've got rectangles, and you've also got equilateral triangles in this one. Other Build-A-Blocks have different shapes in there. But you can see this one is your rectangles. So you create this really lovely, almost like a staircase kind of effect on here. But cutting those by hand, cutting them accurately, is a really tricky thing to do, even though these are super straight lines. Obviously, when you come into things like a hexagon, it's even harder. But in order to get, a really nice crisp design with all your points meeting, you need to be super accurate, and that is a really difficult thing to do with a rotary cutter. But when you're using your Build-A-Blocks, you don't have to worry about it. So these ones are just using those 2 different triangles in there to create that kind of star effect. So how it works is you get your little box here, and you've got your little drawers in here. So this is your Build-A-Block Plus and your normal Build-A-Block. You get it in this kind of drawer system. The other ones will be individual kind of boxes. As you open up your drawer here, you will see you've almost got like a little map of what you've got inside.
It does, yeah.
So you've got all the details of what all these little shapes are. So that one's just fallen out because that's the one I've been using. But they all slot back in here. Now again, these are our multimedia dies. They are deeper than a paper craft die in order to cut those multiple layers of fabric. And you'll just choose the shape that you want to use and then pop them back in here so they don't get lost. Now we do give you a little booklet with each one of these. If I just put that over here, you can see. And it shows you how to cut your fabric using these dies. So we've got a thing about a grain line here. Do you know about a grain line, Craig?
Now, it rings. I actually think you told me about this once before. And I can't remember, but it does
It's
ring
like a little quiz for you.
Yeah.
So a grain line is to do with how the fabric is produced. So fabric is effectively put on a loom, not a loom, because that would be something entirely different, on a loom. And fabric is basically, it's almost like a piece of graph paper in that you've got threads that run up and down, and then you've also got ones that go from left to right.
Right.
So this is called the warp. The ones that go straight up and down, and the ones that go from left to right are the weft. So you'll see on a piece of fabric, you might get an edge like this, where you've got it's like nicely finished off. This is the bit this is the side of the fabric. This is the bit on a loom. This is where the fabric comes in and out and weaves in a part the warp rather. Now, this is how you work out where you want how your fabric's going to look. So what you want to do is you want to cut with that grain line running up and down. And it's all to do with the stretch of the fabric. So if I pull my fabric here, like this.
This is what rings a bell.
Yeah, if I pull it, there's not a lot of give in that. But if I pull it this way, there's quite a lot more give on that. Now, if I'm going to have something cut on the cross, cut at a diagonal, there's a load more give in that. It almost feels like it's elasticated fabric. And that is quite a key thing, because when you've got things like this here, you've got triangles, you want to make sure you're cutting them the right way. Otherwise, the fabric can stretch when you're sewing them together and you don't get a nice, neat finish. Right. So you just need to have a look at that here and make sure that when you're lining up your dies against your fabric, you're using that grain line. But it's quite a simple thing to do. Even if you've got a piece of fabric, just a scrap of fabric with no edges on it, if you just do that test where you're just giving it a pull, either way, you'll be able to work out the place, the area where you haven't got any give at all really, that is where your grain line is running that way like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look through here, and you've got lots of different designs within this little booklet. All of these are achievable just with those 3 different shapes. And bear in mind with those 3, excuse me,
you okay?
There's 3 different shapes. You can also make lots of different sizes. So you can make a 3-inch block, 4-inch blocks, 12-inch blocks, 8-inch blocks. All of those are achievable just from that one box. From that one box. It's amazing. And it opens up a possibility, whereas before you may have thought, actually, those things are too difficult. Those things are too complicated. You've got so many different designs that you can make. This tulip is really easy to do. This hunter star looks really complicated. Super, super easy, because you'll get all the information in here about what you need to cut out, what sizes you're going to be using. And for some of these, you can create, if I give you an example here, you can add these shapes to the shapes of the original builder block system in order to make other designs. So it is really, really key. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut some little rectangles. We're going to cut a few of these. So I'm going to take the rectangle that I need, which I think is the largest one here. Yeah, that's the largest one I need. And I'm just going to run those through my Gemini. So
Can I just reiterate what Barbara's just saying?
Yep.
This is so informative.
Oh,
it absolutely is. It really is, isn't it?
Well, I think, and it's the same with any kind of craft. We all banter around these ideas, these words, and actually until you start doing it, you don't really understand what people are talking about. I remember people saying, oh yeah, mat and layers, and thinking, what's that?
What is it?
And then you're like, oh, okay, I understand now. A mat and layer is, just putting layers on things. But of course, when we talk about them, we know exactly what we're saying, we know exactly what we're talking about. But for a new crafter, it can be quite daunting when you start watching shows, can't it? So what we're doing here is I'm using some of the fabric. So this is the large flower fabric that we've got on the show, and this is the navy spot that we've got here as well. I've also got some of the mustard Lotus Master Circle on the show as well. So I'm going to just very quickly fold this over. See if I can get, I can't quite get 3 out of there. So I'll just cut that one like that.
Just so that you know, I'm not going to go over it all, but the Dashwood Studio Details large flower is at the bottom of the screen. We're going to flick through.
This is the navy spot, yeah. So I'm just going to fold this over and I'm going to run it through the Gemini. Now, I don't need to worry, because these are symmetrical shapes, I don't need to worry that my fabric is facing one way or in another. But obviously, if you're cutting shapes that aren't symmetrical, you need to make sure your fabric is going in the right way round.
Okay.
Otherwise, you end up with shapes that are pointing in the wrong direction. And nobody wants that. There is only one direction. I am a fan of One Direction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Did you see?
Who could not be a fan of Harry Styles? Really?
Did you see Harry Styles just celebrated 15 nights in a row in Madison Square Garden?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
15. Yeah.
It's less impressive than 50, isn't it?
And I should just clarify as well, when you think of 15 nights in a row, it's 15 night sellout in Madison Square Garden.
That is impressive. And he likes an older woman. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my fabric plates here. So my fabric plates are the ones that we talked about earlier on. These are thicker than the metal plates that come with your Gemini. You get 2 of these metal plates. They are really sturdy. So if I compare it to one of the thin metal shim, this is the one you get with the Gemini. That's the metal one. So they are really, really sturdy. And these are key things. If you're going to be using the builder block, you're going to be cutting multiple layers of fabric, and you're going to be using these multimedia dies for your fabric all the time. These are what you need to have, because they will make, you will find using that other metal shim, after a while it really does get a bit of a battering.
Right.
These are the same fabric plates that I've had for over a year.
Seriously?
Yeah, since I started. Which has been just a year. It's been a year since I started. I started at the same time as Michelle. Yeah, I did. I know. I'm obviously that forgettable.
So, does that not mean that you should be giving our social team a message and say, excuse me, can you give me a giveaway, please?
Oh, I thought, does that not mean you get, like, from social media, a nice big prize or something?
Yeah,
I'll ask them.
Yeah,
Okay.
just give our social team a shout. Just say it's your anniversary.
Okay.
Any chances, a little thing that I could do, so I could do a giveaway on my page?
I will be
Do it.
on to that straight away.
So you should. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Because it's been so lovely. Any shows, we don't, as we said, really get to work together a lot.
No.
Last few, where, last week we were together on the opposite side doing this, but usually it's just ships that pass in the night.
Absolutely.
And it's lovely. And just as well, as Barbara was saying as well, the information that you give is so useful. It's so handy.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
And even things click into place for me. So
Yeah.
it's so nice.
Well, sometimes it just there are things like the grain line. Lots of people don't realise, and then they sort of wonder why things don't quite work out right. But that's generally the reason why. So we've cut those out, and you can see that they've cut beautifully. And that is the key thing with the builder block system, that they're going to be cut exactly the way you want them to be. Should have given everything a little bit of an eye before I used it, but everything has been taken into account, like your seam allowance. So if you're using one of these shapes with the triangles, if I get one of these out here, let's have a look at this one here. You'll see from this shape here, where you've got your triangles, you would normally have a little point up here, but with the dies, we've actually cut that little section off.
Yeah.
Because what would happen is, normally you would stitch everything together, and then you'd have to trim these little, what we call dog ears, off. But because you're using the die, we've already cut those off for you.
That's
so
done
it
it
means
for
it's
you.
less bulk and it's quicker for you to get started with creating your items. So it's much, much easier to use. So I'll put that back underneath the messy desk that I have over here, because it is incredibly messy. And then we're going to be stitching these together. So I've already stitched this one together. It doesn't really matter which way round we're going to sew these, because the way the pattern is, it doesn't really matter how it is laid out. So we're just going to put the right sides together, And obviously we're using rectangles here, so they're going to match anyway, and they're going to seem to match. But you'll find that if you're using another builder block, for example, one of the ones with the curves on it, you'll really notice the difference in using the builder block versus you cutting something out yourself, because they will always work together. They will always match. You won't have to worry about any points not matching at all. Just makes it nice and easy. Now, to save time, I'm just going to chain stitch these together. So that means I'm just going to continue to sew. So I've already put that one in and I've sewn to the end, and I've stopped now. But I'm just going to place that other one underneath, and I'm just going to sew all the way across. It just means it's a little bit quicker when you're sewing lots of shapes that are similar. It takes a little, it eradicates a little bit of the extra time that you're going to need. So
that's such a good tip.
Scissors, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to finger press that out, and that one here.
So would you always just use your fingers, or if you've got a little sewing iron or heat iron?
I'm terribly lazy, and I'm sure you know this already. I'm terribly lazy. If it's easier for me to finger press something, I tend to. With patchwork items, you really do want to press everything as much as possible. I know Leanne will always say you need to press after every single thing that you do.
Yeah.
And it really depends. If I was at home and I'm sewing downstairs where I've got the iron all set up, then I will press every single thing. But if I'm upstairs in my craft room, I sometimes don't have the space to have my iron out. But for something like this, so here you can see I've got a bit of a crease. I am going to press that because I want to make sure that's nice and sharp.
Right.
But for small things, you can just get away with finger pressing it. And this fabric is very fine. This is very sort of soft cotton. Finger pressing is much easier if you've got sort of thin fabric. If you're using something that's a bit thicker, like a tweed, you can't get away with it. You do have to press it.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to press it quite significantly. So we're just pressing those little pieces out there.
It's good to know, for anyone that is starting out, or so many when it comes to a certain craft, they like to do everything the exact way. Some people might worry or panic that I've not got room. I know most people have an iron, but not everyone's got room to set it up and that. But maybe Leanne says, I need to do it. You're not the only experts as well. Well, sometimes, as you can see with Becky, not always do it. Do you know what I mean? So
no, and we all do things differently, don't we?
Do.
I always think about the whole hitting of the die against the
exactly. Yes,
prime example. I do that. I do that with the fabric ones,
yeah.
And I do it with the paper craft ones. And I know that for some people that's absolutely sacrilege.
Leanne, yeah.
But it's just what you get used to.
Well,
I mean, I think that's if it suits you, then it suits you. So we're just taking these two pieces. So I've already sewed 2 sets of rectangles together, and then I'm just putting one horizontally and one vertically together. So you can see that they're going to look like that here. So I've got one of those there, and then I've already done these other 2, so I'm going to sew those together as well. So this is a really, really simple design, but actually the fabric sometimes is the thing that you want to sing. And the fabric is so pretty here. I didn't want to do a really, really busy demo, but I didn't want to use all those little triangles, because actually you've got so much beauty in this fabric that this works really well. And what we're going to do here, we're going to make a quick little table runner in a very similar kind of way to where we made that cushion earlier on today. So we've already sewn one piece here, and we've got this one here as well. We're going to stitch those 2 together. So you can see this creates almost like a step effect. It
does.
Again, I'm going to give it a bit of a press because I'm going to be I want to make sure everything lines up. So give this a little bit of a press here with that fabric. And I just think it's such pretty colours. I'm really glad we got this fabric back, because I think it was super popular last time.
Yeah.
It was super popular with me, let alone anybody else. I want it. And I think it's very oriental, isn't it? You want that one with the is it called Flight? It's almost like a crane that's
it is, isn't
flight.
it? Yeah. I'm not good with my birds, but that's exactly what it's like. Now that you've said it, I know obviously what the cranes look like. So
what we're doing now, where I've got these pieces and I'm trying to match them up, I'm starting off more or less in the midpoint of that, so I'm matching that up. Now you just want to, everything should match up perfectly, but if it doesn't, it's generally because you have been a little bit lax with your seam allowance. Perhaps you've not got a 1/4 of an inch foot and you're doing it by eye, perhaps you haven't pressed everything, and you just want to make sure everything matches up. So you might just need to give things a little bit of a squeeze,
Right.
just to make sure it all matches up, or a little bit of a stretch in various places. So just putting those pins across here, and then I'm going to stitch all of that together, and that's going to make the main part of that table runner.
Things like pins and what have you, we've got across on our website. They're actually on Shop the Day, so do make sure you check them ones out. Just while Becky's doing that, just doing what she's done before, I've got a couple of other bits just to show you. Let's have another look at the boho fabric here. So this one here, this is where you're getting the boho fabric. So boho and your enchanted dream. So this is your fabric bundle with 2 of your fat 1/4 bundles and 1 of your 1/2 metre bundles. So all of them you're going to be getting $27.98 or $30.90. If you are platinum, that does come down to $22.35 or $24.72. So that's a really, really good one that you're going to be getting there. Beautiful colours as well. Love them. And then the other item I've got to show you, in actual fact, I've been using these little scissors to do my little bit of sewing here. So you're going to be getting your scissors, and you're going to be getting your scissors for free. So that's for free and that's for free. So you're going to be paying for your embroidery kit and you're going to be getting your scissors and thread absolutely free. So full little kit in there for you, but then you're going to be getting your scissors for free and all these threads for free. £12.99, $17.69. If you are platinum, you're going to get all of that for £10.39 or $14.15. So there we go. Right, Becky, I just wanted to show them while you were doing what you were doing there.
That's all right. I'll forgive you. So we've got some wadding here. So wadding or batting, depending on where you're from. This is a kind of fleecy stuff that goes in between quilts. So if you're going to be using something for, a bedspread, you want it really thick, you'd have a higher loft. Have something that was like a higher tog effectively on here, or if you're going to be using something that perhaps is going to have a hot plate on it, you'll use one that is heat resistant. So I've just roughly cut a piece of fabric, and I've also cut a piece of that wadding here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of our spray. So I'm going to use some of our stick and spray adhesive, and so I'm just going to give it a quick spray around here, and I'm going to set it with my iron. So I only do half, and then I just smooth out my fabric over the top of that, and then I use the other side as well. And then effectively I'm going to do the same kind of thing as I did when I made that cushion cover earlier on today. So I'm only doing this very, very roughly, and I'm doing it generally by hand, by eye. Obviously I'm doing it by hand because I'm not a robot. I don't know why it was beeping. It was really weird. It wasn't me. I don't know. I've taken my shoes off now. It seems to be okay. I don't know whether my shoes beeping or what. Beep, beep, beep.
That was a really good tip with doing half of the spray and then folding it over and then doing the other half.
Otherwise it's impossible to get it in the right place again. So we're just giving it a bit of an iron, and then that iron, that heat, will then activate the adhesive in that spray. Those sprays that we have here are really great. I use them all the time. In fact, I've had to do a special order because I'm desperate for some. I'm running out.
Is that a special fabric spray?
It is. It's a little bit like, I suppose it's a bit like you using your tape pens.
Yeah.
It's just something you use all the time without fail. So we're going to put these right sides together, and I'm just going to trim around the edge just so I've got the right size. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to turn my mat around, and I'm going to find my, I need that, and I need my rotary cutter.
Really lovely selection of your Soft Craft Essentials on our website. So I know I keep referring to it, but if you're going to shop the day, not only will you'll have seen what we're going to be using later on, but a lot of the items and so much more that Becky's not had a chance to show yet will all be there, shop the day. So worthwhile checking that one out. Maybe stock up on some good things. You might find a few bits and pieces in the end of the summer sale as well. Just saying. And Fiver Friday.
I misheard Fiver Friday, and I heard Fibre Friday, and I thought it was going to be, you know, lots of prunes on the website for people, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
Fiver Friday.
Oh, Fiber Friday.
Fibre Friday.
Right.
That's what I heard. What
Yeah. I don't know what you heard. I was just agreeing. I was just nodding, going, yeah.
Yeah, whatever, Becky, crazy lady. So.
She's a crazy thing.
I'm just trimming around here. So you can see I'm just being really, I'm not measuring anything. I'm just, you know, cutting it according, I'm cutting my cloth according to my coat, or I'm cutting my cloth according to my table runner that I've just made. Then what I want to do is I want to stitch all the way around the outside, around the outside. But I'm going to leave a gap here like this for turning in. So I can make sure everything's turned nicely. Now, another way of doing this, you could actually put this over the top, and then you could put some binding around the edge, but this is the quickest way of putting it all together while I'm doing a show.
Okay.
Like
Tess was actually saying, when you were talking about how to cut the fabrics and that with the shims, she says, now I understand how to cut fabrics with those shims.
Good, that's brilliant. Yeah, it does, and the fact, I like the fact that we've got, even if you haven't got those fabric plates, you can still cut your fabric. I mean, it just will, your shims will not last as long, but it doesn't matter, you know, at least you've got that option. So if you've not been able to get hold of those fabric plates, or, you know, you haven't got them to hand, you can, of course, cut anything with your normal Gemini and without those particular fabric plates. Yeah. I'm going to mark here to stop myself from sewing across like that. I'm going to sew all the way around now.
These, you know, size dependent, they'll still go through the junior and that as well, will they?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, no problem at all. And in fact, they'll go through those little dies will go through the mini.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll go through those as well.
There we go.
So, Craig, did you go to the barbecue last year?
I did, yeah.
So what? Because I've not been. So
You're right.
What have I got to expect tomorrow?
A lot of catching up with people that we don't always see quite a lot, because, you know, believe it or not, although obviously HQ is just next door, it's attached to the studios, we don't always see everyone. We know everyone by name when it comes to email and communication, but it's nice just to catch up with everyone. Yeah, we do like to, you know, we do have a little drinky poo, of course.
Yeah.
There's some food. Yeah, there's...
But I heard everyone's got to do their party piece. So Ben's going to do some juggling.
Okay.
You can play the bagpipes, I heard.
Oh, can I? Okay.
I thought that's what happened. Everyone has a little party piece that they have to perform.
Yeah.
Is that not the case?
Oh, I want to come to some of your parties.
No, I will not be reenacting the song that I sang in the airport when I was 19. No, I will not be doing that. Because if, unless somebody wants to provide me with a gift, with a prize like I had that time, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, there's no prizes at the party.
No prizes. Oh, that's disappointing.
No. There is, you know, because it's not just open to us, it's our family can go as well.
Yeah.
So last year there was some kiddies, so it was like a bouncy castle and all that. Let's just say it wasn't always the kiddies that were playing on the bouncy castle. So
was it you, Craig?
Me and Charlotte may have had a race. Yeah.
A race?
A race. Because it's like I don't know if there's one, I think there is one this year, but when I say bouncy castle, it's like one of these big obstacle course bouncy castles.
Oh fab.
So yeah, so me and Charlotte had a race. There was a lot of people having a race. I think Tracy and Jake had a race. They had a race, so yeah. It's just, as I said a moment ago, it's lovely to just catch up with, you know, our colleagues, our friends that we only communicate with really in work mode by email. It's nice just to see them face to face.
do you know, the thing I'm most looking forward to is catching up with the rest of the craft experts, because we hardly get to see each other. Because when we come in, and especially, I don't live nearby, so I'm often, I literally here for a show and then I'm gone. We never really get a chance to catch up.
No.
And obviously some of us stay in the same house, but again, I haven't seen Michelle for months.
No.
So I'm really looking forward to catching up with everybody else.
Yes,
it'll be really good fun. I'm looking forward to it.
It will be good.
And I did feel sorry for whoever was working tomorrow, Craig.
So did
and I'm
I.
really sorry it's you. That's going to be, I guess, going to be a toughie, isn't it?
On the Sunday?
Yeah. Is it going to be a little bit like when Holly and Phil came back from the BAFTAs and they hadn't gone to bed?
The wards, and they hadn't gone to...
they were all covered in mustard, weren't they?
Yeah. If you have no idea what we're on about, certainly you guys states, I would have a look on YouTube. It's our this morning. It's after our equivalent of Good Morning America, Good Morning Britain, then this morning. They went to an award ceremony and they didn't go to bed.
No.
And they may have done a live TV show for like 2.5 hours, a little bit giddy, so to say.
I think so.
Check that out.
It's one of the funniest things in the world, trying to watch them be really sensible.
When they can.
And
it's like watching us, basically, when you're sober.
Yeah, exactly.
There
Exactly.
you go. But yeah.
Right, so I'm just going to fold that over so you can see what that would look like if I'd stitched that together. But this is, so I've folded everything out now. So this is just the bit with, here I would either hand stitch this together, or I would over stitch with the sewing machine and go all the way around that outside. But we haven't really got time today. But you can see, I mean, that could be a bolster cushion if you wanted to, but I'd sort of made that as almost like a table run, or a place to pop maybe your roast chicken here, so it was going to be in the middle of your table. But you can see, you don't want to be doing too much with that beautiful fabric. You really do want to let it sing for itself.
I absolutely, I kind of wish that was in paper form as well. I'd be buying that paper pad, that's for sure. That was the Build-A-Block Patchwork System plus 14 elements. All of that $74.99 or $104.96. It is $59.99 for the UK Platinum price, or $83.97. That is our Build-A-Block of the week. We have now got our
Sewing deal
of the week. This is where you are going to get your bumper felt. This one is the blooms, and you're also going to get the textile glue. Becky mentioned it earlier on. She did use it within Wake Up Call. Felt and textile glue duo, 17 sheets of felt and your glue, $14.23 or $18.33, saving 25%, but platinum price is $11.38 or $14.66. Another multimedia dies that we've got here, it is going to be that you're buying 2 and you're going to get 4 for free. I know, isn't that crazy? Is your buy 2, get 4 for free. So these ones here, you're going to see just coming up on your screen right now. Cut and stitch multi-craft dies, heart die set with 10 dies, $12.99 or $14.95. So you are, no, I was wait. No, that's not it. No. So, there we go. There we are. This is our multimedia dies. It threw me when it said you got 2 for what it's going to be, double the price or something. So here we go. So this is, it's still working out, is you're buying 2 and you're getting 4 for free. So you're getting all 6 together, $19.98 or $29.90. Look at that saving £45.96 or $67.80. If you are platinum price, you're going to be paying then $15.98 or $23.92. All of them ones, multimedia die, 6 elements in total. Working out, buy 2, you get 4. For free. And then we've also got, here we go, so we're going to be showing you these ones. This one here is your trendy tote and purse and wallet pattern patch, 6 elements in total. So this is what we're going to be having a look and using just next. £13 or $19, saving 30%. Platinum, however, comes all the way down to £10.40 or $15.20. All of these, everything else Becky's been shown yet, mark visible image, and also what we're going to be looking at when it comes to the craft along later. Check out Shop the Day. Rhonda is saying, I have most of the Build-A-Block system. Quilting made easy. Beth is saying how clever. Barbara's saying this is so informative. Karen is saying I used to sew all the time. I've made curtains, cushions, dresses, shirts, pants and even suits for my son when he was little. I made quilts and quilted them on a regular sewing machine. I wanted to make more quilts if I ever get time. I think that's just kind of touching upon Build-A-Blocks. Just a couple more. Nancy saying this is beautiful and is so inspiring. I like Becky's simplicity of everything, like no pins. There we go. It's always good having the experts in. Beth is saying, I do like that fabric combination, just to what Becky was using a moment ago. Last but by no means least for now, Mary Pat is saying, I have the Build-A-Block patchwork system, but haven't played with it yet. Was waiting for my fabric plates, and now they are here. I must give them a go.
Excellent. Oh, you definitely.
Definitely.
They will change the way you work, definitely. My aunt always cut everything by hand. When I showed her these, she was like, wow, well, wow. Can you just run these through the machine? How long do you need to cut these 600 squares for me? And I was like, I'll just do them now. Couple of cups of tea done and they're all finished. They're really good. Now what we're going to look at now is we're going to look at the all occasions purses and wallets templates here that we've got. So these are, they're very simple and they're super, super effective. Now I've actually got a few samples down here.
Fab.
So you can see what they look like. Now in this pack you're going to be able to get 5 different patterns to make 5 different items. So you've got this little tiny, this is what I call a going out purse. So you can fit your money in there and then you can fit your credit card in here and that's it, that's all you need. So that's my going out purse. Then you've also got other purses like this. So you've got all these little slots for popping your credit cards into. You've got a little zip for your change. You've got all sorts of different options in there. You've also got this one, which is more of a kind of travel wallet really, I suppose. So you've got other little sections in here. And then finally, we've got this little kind of clutch bag. So you've got a strap here to pop around your wrist, but you've also got a zip here with that little inclusion, or little popper here. And in the side, we've also sort of created so you can put all your credit cards in there as well. So there's all those little options in there. Now this is a paper template, so it doesn't have, you don't need to use your Gemini. It's just a question of using the old-fashioned kind of way of cutting out your template. So you can see here, I've cut some of these out already. They're just out of ordinary paper, so good quality paper. You've also got this little arrow on here, and this is indicating your grain line again. So where we were talking about on the Gemini, making sure you're cutting with your fabric in that particular angle, this is again making sure that you're cutting things like this rather than on a cross. And then this is your main clutch bag. So that's effectively what we're going to be doing today. I'm just doing a very simple clutch bag using the little dies that we've been using all day today, those cut and stitch dies. So we're going to be using this. Now, what I've got here is I've got some interfacing. Do you know what interfacing is, Craig?
I've heard it, but I don't know.
So interfacing is like an extra layer that you pop in with your fabric. So, for example, for your shirt collar, you would have something that basically stiffens it inside. So sometimes you just need a little bit more body to your particular thing that you're making. So bags, often you've got sort of wadding in them. You might have a thing called bosal, which is a kind of foam. It makes everything much more rigid. So this one just needs a little bit of extra. So it's not enough just to use the ordinary fabric. We need a little bit of something extra on it. So what we're going to do is I've already stitched one of these little butterflies on here. But what I want to do is I want to adhere this interfacing onto the back of this. You can buy interfacing that you iron on, but this one we're going to spray. We're going to use the adhesive spray. So again, I'm doing the same thing as I did before. I'm just going to give it a spray. I'm going to fold it back half of it, and then I'm going to do the other half over here.
Okay.
Like so. Now, I would be not doing this on my board. I'd be doing this with a piece of paper underneath, but I haven't got a piece of paper today, so I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm doing that for that side as well. So this is my outer part of my bag. And then I'm going to be using some of this, I can't remember which fabric this one was.
Lily.
Water lily?
Is it water
Water
lily?
lily.
Yeah.
We're going to be using that for the lining of the bag. So we're just going to give it a little bit of an iron because obviously the iron is what makes that glue spray adhere.
Okay.
So just a very quick, is Ben really singing?
He was singing there, yeah. Yeah.
You can create a song out of anything, can't you?
He can. He's really good at that. Just to say, we've got our new launch details just up on the screen for you to see. If you want to go for that trendy tote and purse and wallet pattern packs, that's along the bottom of your screen, £13 or $19 for today.
Now, as I've said before, I'm really lazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my layers. So I've got my 2 layers of fabric with the interfacing, and I've got my 2 layers of lining. I'm putting them all together, and then I'm going to place my clutch bag panel over the top. Now, we do have, let's see if I've got the right spray with me, our paper pattern spray.
Right.
So this is yet another spray that we have, but it's got an adhesive onto it that you use for paper patterns. So I'm just going to spray that over here on the back of that pattern. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a dry. So this is really good for people that are using paper patterns, whether you're using them for your dressmaking or you're going to be using them for bags, because they just give a temporary adhesive to it, and that's just stuck there. It's not going to damage your fabric, but that's just stuck in that place. Now what you can do is you could use a heat erasable pen.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my heat erasable pen.
Where did that come from there?
I was using this for holding my hair up. I couldn't find one immediately to hand. So you could use your heat erasable pen to message around here, and so you can just mark that around. So we're just going to do that very briefly around here, like that. Now the bits that I'm most interested in are these curves around here, because those are the bits I'm really going to have to work on making sure I cut accurately. But the rest of it, I'm just going to use my rotary cutter, and I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm just going to cut around those. So I'm using my small rotary cutter here. So what I'll do is I'll just line that up, and I'm going to cut through all of those layers.
Wow.
I might need to do it again. Oops, just down here. So I'm just going to cut through all those layers of fabric in one go. You probably want to use the slightly larger rotary cutter for doing this, but I'm using the teeny tiny one for the moment.
And it's maybe probably worthwhile just pointing out as well, you know, when you're using the tools, use the actual tools for the job. What I mean by that is don't try and use your paper crafting sprays for your fabrics, is that right? The contents of your fabric sprays are there, it's been made, it's been manufactured to work with your fabrics. It'll be to do with the stickiness and obviously the contents that's in it.
Yeah, and I think what you may find is if you're using some adhesives that aren't meant for fabric, you may find that there's a bit of residue that comes off, which you wouldn't want.
No.
So I'm just holding on to this here, and I'm going to use my rotary cutter to cut around the edge of that. But there's nothing to stop me from using my scissors, which I might do for the other side. So I'm just going to, as long as we're trimming, in fact that's done, that's worked perfectly anyway. As long as we're trimming all together. Now you might have rotating mats. I haven't got one, so all I'm doing is I'm actually rotating this mat. I tend to have a bigger mat on a small one. Oh no, the other way around, small mat on a big mat.
Okay.
But you can cut around here using the scissors. So now we've got all of those pieces cut out. So just pull that away. So that will stay slightly sticky, slightly tacky, and you'll be able to reuse that. So we've got our outer piece of fabric, we've got the rear, and then we've got the 2 pieces that are going to form the lining of the fabric as well. So what we need to do now is we need to use cut out our zip. Now these are our, what are these called? These are called Sips on a roll, sips on a roll, sips on a roll, sips on a roll, sips on a roll. Hey! Craig! Come on!
So old.
No, it's not. It's Zips on a Roll. It's a new one. It's totally different.
If only you could hear what we're hearing.
I do love. If anyone didn't hear your song, which I was treated to,
Yes, this morning.
it was brilliant. I do love that song.
Halloween's coming. Apparently, our Voice of God does work now.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So Jenny and John were saying.
Oh, I didn't know that. I have a friend who's from Canada, and she sings a different Halloween song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Not too big, not too small, just the size of Montreal.
Montreal?
Yeah, that's it. Not too big, not too... I know. Yeah, but I think every child wants loads and loads of treats. But she says, when she moved to the UK, she said the children weren't saying that. And I was like, no, they don't really. They just say, no, well, trick or treat. And they come through. But she's now got 2 small children, and they sing it as they go round. Yeah. So what I've done here is I've taken my piece of outside fabric, and I've taken my zip, and I've got my zip facing downwards, and I've got my lining fabric facing down. Is that the right way? Just trying to remember. It's horrible when I sometimes get these round the right way and I start questioning myself. Let me just check. That's going to work. And then I'm going to change the foot on my machine to a zipper foot. So if you're just starting to sew, and you don't know what I mean by changing your foot, I don't mean putting your slippers on. I do mean changing your foot on your sewing machine. So this is like the standard foot that you tend to get on your sewing machine, which is fairly sort of square, fairly rectangular. And then this one has got a little, it looks like a shoe, and this is your zipper foot. And this allows you to stitch very, very close to where, so don't get anything in the way. So it just sort of sits next to where that zip is. So your actual zip teeth are down here, and it just stops it from getting in the way. If you had this one, your foot would be at a slight angle when it was stitching, because it would be slightly on those teeth. So that's what you need to use on your machine now.
These tools, or these clips that you're using, Becky, I've actually got them at the bottom of your screen. It's an essential tool collection with 53 elements. You're actually getting 50 of the clips for free, basically, when you buy the binding tool and the miter tool as well. This is where the 53 elements come in total. $21.98 or $29.90. That's the today's price. But yeah, that's 50 of those clips that you're getting for free.
And the miter tool and the binding tool are sort of 2 things that you think, actually, I don't know if I need. But if you look at our YouTube channel and you have a look at the videos of using them, you will find that they are absolutely key little tools for you to have. They are really, really useful, really great for people that are doing sort of quilting and patchworking. Okay. So I'm just going to stitch along here. So I'm just sewing this zip inside this little pouch, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So sewing all the way along.
I have to say, this has been so fascinating, Becky, between Wake Up Call and this show as well. It's been so fascinating seeing all these different things that you've been doing, the little tips, certain things that I've heard, terminologies or phrases or words that I've heard when it comes to sewing, and you've cleared up what they've actually meant. Oh,
thanks, Craig. I'll pay you that £50 when we come off air.
No, that's okay. And giving me a little project to do, because I finished it.
You have?
I have, yeah.
Aww.
Yep. Well chuffed.
And it's quite easy to do, isn't it? And like you say, it's like one of those things, a little bit like cross stitch. You can't really go wrong.
No.
And I think that's quite a nice thing, because you achieve something without having to worry that you're not going to get it quite right.
Yeah, you do the wrong stitch, you just feed it out again,
yeah,
don't you?
Exactly. So I'm just pressing here, so you can see now this is one side, so I've got my outer part, I've got my zip, and then I've got my inner part here. I'm going to do exactly the same on this side, and then once I've done those, I'm then going to undo the zip and then turn everything around the right way, and then I'll be able to sew around the outsides of the bag if we've got time. Around the outside, there we go.
And then if you go with the fabric patterns that we were showing you earlier on, and then with the different options in the new launch today, you can make lots of different designs. You know, you can do what Becky's doing a number of times, but all with your different fabric patterns. Or maybe you're going to go for the boho, you could use that instead. But use one of the butterflies, use the hearts or the rainbows or the flower. You know, there's many ways in which you can use it.
There is, and I think it's you know, it's such a nice, neat kind of collection of dies. There'll be something there for everybody. I particularly like the rainbow one. It's a shame I didn't get a chance to use that rainbow one. So I think that is one of my favourites because I think it makes a really lovely image.
Yeah.
And I can see that being on a child's, you know, bedroom, you know, sort of small child, you know, new baby kind of thing. It's quite a nice sort of shape to have in their rooms. I was talking to somebody the other day who was organising her child's or her daughter's birthday party. She was like, oh, actually, I think I might now go for rainbows. Yeah. Now I've seen those, I could do rainbow bunting.
That's it.
And that's quite a nice thing to do. Right, so using those quilting clips again, and I'm going to stitch along here. So again, I'm using my zipper foot.
It's a nice thought to incorporate even your sewing elements in with your paper crafting, if that's the case. Maybe you are a paper crafter, you've thought about venturing into the world as you know, your soft crafts, your sewing, but you don't want to jump straight in. Then, you know, maybe start to go in with this collection here with some of the fabrics, get some of your threads, slowly start to transition from the paper crafts into the sewing, or maybe vice versa even, and you're going to get really, really lovely projects and cards and makes.
You will, absolutely you will. So we've stitched all the way around there. I'm going to give that another quick press, just so it's nice and easy for that to come out of the way. And then what we're going to do now is I'm just going to pull this zip down. So I'm trying to pull the zip down without catching all those little naughty threads that are in the way.
Silly threads.
Naughty threads. Cheeky naughty threads, and I'm just going to pull that zip across down here. What I will want to do is I want to just give this a little bit of a stitch here and here so it doesn't fall apart, and otherwise I'll lose that little lip or that little zip pull, and nobody wants that. Nope. I'm just going to very slowly stitch across here. Now, because these are your nylon zips, you can stitch over them with your sewing machine, but if you were using a metal zip, or metal teeth, it would be a little bit more of a challenge. Just do that on that side. Like so. Now what we want to do is we want to put your lining together and your outer parts together, like that. Okay. And then we're going to stitch around the outside here with a little bit of a gap down here. So in fact, now I'm going to put I want the gap in my lining, so I'm going to put a mark here and a mark there, as well as the mark that's over there.
He is indeed, yeah.
Yeah. 7 minutes, that's very accurate.
Yeah. In other words, Becky, you've got 7 minutes. Well, less than that.
Right, okay. Right, okay, I'm being really quick. There we go. No, I don't want to eat into Mark's time, absolutely not. No, you're really angry with me. I can see him. Yeah, he's like the Hulk. Was it the Hulk who said, you don't want to see me angry?
Yeah.
Yeah. The old Hulk, the original, the OG. Yeah.
No, what was it you were on about, Mark? It was She-Hulk. She-Hulk. Yeah.
She-Hulk. Is that terrible? It looks appalling.
Don't say that.
No, from the trailers, it looks absolutely diabolical.
Mark is in the studio as well, so just watch what you're saying. He enjoyed it.
It looks to me it's going to be a little bit like She-Wolf. Do you remember Teen Wolf? And then they had She-Wolf.
Oh, see, I was just thinking of Shakira's song. Shakira, She-Wolf.
That's my boyfriend's girlfriend's name is Shakira.
Is it?
And I feel very sorry for her because the first time she came over, everybody was just playing Shakira's songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was mortified.
By the way, you've got about 3 minutes now, Becky.
Okay, that's fine. Right, let's stitch around here.
She-Hulk could do it.
Right. Yeah, don't make me. You've never seen me angry, Craig.
No.
Oh, terrible! An awful temper. Yeah. You wait and see.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, terrible temper. And then when I get really angry, I stamp my feet. I know, like a small child. I do scream and scream and scream until I'm
I
thick.
couldn't imagine you angry, no.
Obviously, I managed to hide that side of me really
yeah,
well.
you have. You've lasted a year here.
Yeah. You wait. If I was here full time, you'd see it all the time. Angry Becky. So slowly going around those corners. So this is the part, this is the outer part, so this is a little bit thicker, so you've got your fabric in here, but you've also got that interfacing in there as well. Stitch around all of those edges, apart from that little place in that lining that I've left open. And then we're just coming through here. Here, and then we're just going to do a couple of back stitches here,
Right.
Just to secure that little section. And then we're going to do a little bit of trimming around the edge. So again, we're going to just cut into those sort of corners here, or you could trim. So you could just go like this here. I'm going to cut that off there. Just trim this section. So these are the sort of curves. Curves are always a bit tricky because you want to minimise the bulk you've got in those curves. So you can either do it like this by actually trimming closer to that sewing edge, or you can just snip in like that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this inside out, or the right way round, whichever way you look at it. Just being a bit careful.
Melanie D loves She-Hulk as well.
I'll have to watch it. There's just too much choice.
There is now, isn't
I'm
it?
behind on the new Game of Thrones thing. I've missed a few of those episodes. I might watch those over the weekend.
So I know the She-Hulk's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
The other thing, I've still got last season of Grey's Anatomy to finish.
Yeah.
And usually in the UK, we don't get the new series until about February time.
Yeah.
But in the UK, Disney Plus have now taken over Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
So we get the new season when America gets it, which is next month. So I've got a bit of catching up to do with that.
Yeah, that is half the battle, isn't it? So there you go. I would finish off the inside of that. I'll just sort of sew that little hole in that gap. But there you've got a little tiny pouch, with that little, like a makeup bag with that little cut and stitch embellishment on there as well.
That is awesome. As I pointed out just not that long ago, think of the different fabrics, the different elements when it comes to these ones here. Thank you so much, Becky. I really enjoyed that 2 hours, as well as earlier on as well. Going to do a very quick recap, but we are back together again later on for Craft Along.
We are.
We're going to be swapping over later, so you're going to be here for the first hour.
I'm going to be popping on your presenter shirt.
You are. You're going to be, well, yeah. And I'm going to pop your dress on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
It's an interesting kind of show we're going to have later on tonight.
It really, really is. So you're going to be on this side for the full 3 hours. First hour with Mark, Visible Image, and then with myself there with the Craft Along. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Absolutely.
But we still have an hour to go. We've still got an hour to go. We're away to swap over now with Mark and Visible Image. So we do have that brand new launch that we've just been using throughout today. We've got the boho fabrics. We have got that trendy tote bag collection that Becky was just using a moment ago. The new launch being the Cut in Stitch multi-craft dies, 48 elements and 16 sheets of fell, all of that $15.96 or $58.95. Other options if you only want certain dies as well as just wanting the fabric, all across on the website. Everything Becky's been using, showing, talking about and loads more is across on Shop the Day, so check it out. We're going to give you a couple of minutes to check out your basket and we're going to be back in a moment with Mark and Visible Image. See you in a second.
Hello, I'm Ben and I'm one of the presenters on Crafters TV. So my presenting journey started when I was about 18. I started working at a holiday park here in the UK. Our US viewers might not know it, but there's like a holiday park called Butlins. So what's involved with being a presenter? Well, my day-to-day kind of is ensuring I know everything that's on the show. Ensuring that the guys that I'm working with obviously are happy with everything that's on the show. And I kind of feel like what I do, I'm sort of like the glue in the show, if you like. There's a bit of a crafty reference for you. So kind of listening to the guys in the gallery, the producer, the director, I'm sort of always listening to what they want me to do whilst the crafters are crafting. So I feel like I'm there as the glue, keeping sort of everything, as it should be. But I also think my job is to have a lot of fun, which I think I do on most days. Get the viewers interacting, because we always love to hear from our viewers, and I think that's one thing that we do here that you don't get anywhere else, is that interaction. So I think on the shows where I get the opportunity to craft, I always try and have a go, because I always think that if I can show that I can do it as like a real newbie base level crafter, then hopefully that'll inspire other people to have a go as well. I'm always inspired by Craig, because again, he's such a talented crafter, as our guys, as I say, all of them are, but he has obviously had a lot to battle with as far as his health is concerned. I always say this about Craig, he's, if I'm having a bit of a bad day, I always think about Craig, because he's not been so well recently, but he'll never come into work and sort of moan about how bad he's feeling, and with all of the health issues he's had and the operations he's had over the years, he's a big inspiration because he just gets on with it.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
So whether it is cartload, whether it's craft fall, or whether it is the end of the summer sale, or whether it is when we've got our good friends here in the studio, such as Visible Image, you will still get your Club Inspire on everything. Even if it's the end of the summer sale and the item is £1 or $1, you will still get it. I've been here just over 3 years and I've never, ever, ever done a show where it says Club Inspire is excluded. Never happened. So it's just worthwhile knowing, and it's free. As I say, talking about Visible Image, we're here for another full hour of creative goodness when it comes to the stamps and stencils of Visible Image. We're ready to dive in just in a moment, but let's say good afternoon to Mark. Afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. We had a really, not sure if your mic's on, there's just a way to go and check it in a moment. They're ready to have a look, but we did have a really, really fun show earlier on. The comments coming through earlier on were fantastic, and I'm not surprised. So just while we get sorted, let's have a look at what Mark is actually going to be demonstrating first. And this is the Bold Stamp Collection. This is where you've got 20 stamps in total. $29.99 or $42.99. New launch today on Crafters TV. This is saving you over 15%. Platinum, however, comes down to $23.99 or $34.39. So you're getting a load of stamps in there. As I was saying earlier, Mark done an incredible demonstration on Wake Up Call. But then you have got all of these bold sentiments, or the bold fonts. Bold enough is what it's titled, and then we've got background visions here. So Mark was incorporating a few of these earlier on Wake Up Call. So that is the 3 sets you're getting in this whole collection. Look at some of the things that you can be doing. I mean, looking at using the bold fonts just edge to edge, side to side, and then going in very, very simple, but how elegant and sophisticated does it look? But then looking at these ones here, aren't these fab? Whether it's sprays, whether it is your blending inks, if you love your masking, of course, you can absolutely do that, of course. These ones here with this stamp set, of course, will all work together just beautifully, but a few more for you to see. We'll hold a couple back for later on. That one I adore, and then we can even show you, even if you want to make little notelets that you can see here using your bold. Let's just go in here so that you can see. I mean, look at that. Really bold in colour, but bold in sentiments as well. So that is your $29.99 or $42.99 when it comes to this collection of your bold stamps. And just to let you know as well, a quarter of the stock is gone already. So just be warned when you're thinking, quite fancy getting them. Mark, we're going to be having a look at these ones first, aren't we?
Yes, yeah, I think so. Let's make a start.
Perfect, let's do it.
Yes, obviously I'm going to use the no filter. One of my favourite from this new collection, although I do like them all. I'm going to ink this up now. I'm using my stamping platform,
okay,
and I'm going to use my VersaFine black ink, and let me just put my glasses on because that will help seeing everything. So just ink it up very simply, and then we're going to clear emboss this after we've got a gorgeous image.
Excellent.
So again, you know, this is a large stamp, it's like the size of my hand, so you'll probably want to use some kind of stamping platform rather than go in, you know, freestyle or freehand, you know, with a block.
Okay.
Just because you want to make sure that you've got this gorgeous image working properly.
Yeah.
So just go over again. I like a nice dark image, especially when I'm working.
Yeah.
So just lightly go over that. Take that off, and isn't she absolutely stunning?
She absolutely is.
So we'll take this off here, and now we'll go on to the clear embossing.
That attention to detail that you can get, even just in the waves of her hair, and you know, if you really look closely onto the hair, it's all that extras that you see that you've put in.
Yeah, I mean, this set was, you know, designed for today's kind of modern thinking person. You know, it's very relevant with the hashtags as well that you've got in the set. You know, it's all about being real, especially, you know, with filters and that on Instagram and social media.
Yep.
So there's so many fake people, so it's all about, you know, being true to yourself and true to everybody else.
But what I love as well, Mark, what you've done is you've not hidden away from that. Sometimes that could be a subject, you know, where some people will tend to shy away from. But you're really putting it at the forefront and say, you know, let's be strong, let's be positive, let's put it into the collections, and that's what you're doing creatively.
And you know, they just look so great together, you know, whether you use this one single image or you buy the bundle, because there's so many other elements in those bundles as well. They're all been designed to work together. We were talking about that earlier, that when we come out with a collection, we try and make sure that they all work together. I mean, but they also work individually as well. So if you can only afford one or two of them, then great. But if you can afford the bundle, then even better. Yeah. So we've got this gorgeous image now, lovely image. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to get back to kind of my own kind of style. I'm going to do a little bit, we're going to get a little bit inky.
Oh, brilliant, excellent.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this into a spray box lid, and I'm going to use some Distress Inks sprays, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a spray. So the colours I'm going to use, these are Distress Inks, but you can use any, whatever spray inks that you've got there. There are lots of different brands available. First thing to do is, sometimes it's nice to just wet the paper to start off with as well. So just give it a little spray, and that helps the ink travel across the card.
Okay.
So using a few sprays, I'll hold it so you can actually see it on camera, and I'll just give it a little bit of a spray there. And I think we'll use a little bit of purple. I do like purple as well. So we'll use a bit of purple there.
I see what you mean by doing that spritz of water first.
It makes it, it does make a difference. And then what I'm going to do as well is if I hold it the other way around, I'm going to start letting those inks travel down a little bit. Just taking those inks down. And sometimes if we need to go in with a little bit more water, we can spritz that. I'm working backwards now, so you'll have to forgive me if my hand gets in the way there. So I'm just working backwards a little bit, just a bit different. And once we're kind of happy with that kind of look, then we just stop it there. And we will just dry this off quickly. I'll dry that off in there, I think. Again, this is where, lots of people do like to get inky. I know there's lots of people who don't, but I see lots of people who do get an inkiness, and if they don't like getting their hands covered in the ink, then just wear some gloves. So there's a lot of people wear rubber gloves, Yeah.
Absolutely, you're right there.
So again, I do like having that kind of natural look in the drips. When you're drying this, you can let it dry naturally, or you can obviously use a heat tool to quickly dry it. Normally though, I find that the inks aren't quite as intense when you evaporate them quickly rather than drying naturally, but that's fine, that still works.
Yeah, see, I find exactly the same. Yeah, I always say and suggest if you can leave it overnight or that, then to do it.
Yeah, you can, totally. So just drying that off. Now, let's go back to that and move that out of the way. Now, the next thing I want to do is, sometimes I also use a brush, and if I want to highlight certain areas with a bit more ink, then I will go in with a water brush, and some distress ink, and I will just go in with a few more extra colours. If I want to, oops, wrong tub there, just go in with a few extra colours, and I will add those extra purples there that I want to accentuate on there, especially on the lips, I'm thinking. So if we just run the brush down, just follow that down. And what you'll find is the ink will chase the water as well.
Right. So do you always do this bit after it's dried, after you've dried it?
Quite often, yes, yeah. But you can do it during it if you so wish to. It doesn't really make much difference. So I'm just going to give that another quick dry, and then we'll move on to the next section.
And it is quite a simple technique to do, but to get such an impactful look, isn't it? Yeah, and you're never going to replicate the same thing twice. Each time you do it, it'll be totally different, and that's what I like. And doing this like on a live demonstration in, say, 5 or 10 minutes, obviously most people watching would take a lot longer, which is fine as well. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that to my card mat. And then we can go in and accentuate some more detail. So we're just going to stick that. And that's what's good when it comes to the collections or any of the packs of stamps that you've got. If you do only have the one, for instance, we do have, when I say collections, we've got a couple of bundles where it's one stamp set in there. You can still create a lot of lovely things from that one stamp set, but then as it grows, whether it's still in that same kind of monthly collection or as it grows over time or stencils or that, it's when you're starting to build up with that different depth and design, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I like to be able to, to give people the chance to obviously have some new designs, but also they'll work with lots of things that we've had before. Yeah. And I think that's important because you don't want to say goodbye to those things because you like to keep them, especially if you like them. I'm just going in with a white jelly roll pen, or you could use a Posca pen or any white pen that you've got, and just highlight some of the details in the facial features. One of the things I like to do is go over some of these elements. We can do it in white, and I've also got a few gems which I'll be able to put on there as well, which will make it look really cool. Again, this is card creating at its most basic element. A little bit of fun, having fun, a little bit of inkiness, and that's what I love to see. Yeah, yeah.
you know, if I can create this in a few minutes, then people who spend in half an hour can create masterpieces, I would say. Because the stamp is basically doing most of the work for you.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
There's not a lot you have to actually do to make something look really cool. I do like that. So, again, I'm being very quick here. I'm not being too careful, but I think that's starting to work now. Now, one of the other things I want to do is I've got some gems. Just you know, it's the first time I've ever used gems on TV before. Probably because they've been a little bit fiddly in the past, but I don't know whether I'll do that or I'll use some. I might use some stickles. I'll tell you what, we'll leave the gems today. We'll use some stickles instead.
The stickles.
Save time. And do you know what? I'm going to also go over those lips as well.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah. Just highlight those lips.
And it's whether you're doing obviously the heat emboss that you've done or your stickles or your gems, what's nice as well is because your card, any of your cards, as beautiful as they are, if you're keeping them flat, sometimes it's nice to have that little bit of texture, is it? Whether it's a gem or the blue gel or something.
It's that touchy-feely look as well.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Now, obviously in the set, we have lots of words in there as well, which are totally relevant for now. So what do you reckon we should try? What would you like? No filter? No filter?
Yeah, let's actually go no filter.
Okay. We'll have no filter. Just stick that on. This is the 3D glue.
Okay.
Obviously, I know lots of our American friends use foam pads, but you know, 3D glue is great because you can move it and reposition it wherever you want. Whereas I used to be a foam pad. You know, I used to use foam pads all the time, but now I always use the glue. I find it easier.
I've taken over your role of foam pads.
Have you?
Yeah.
You've gone to foam pad land, have you?
Oh, I've always been foam pan.
Oh, have you?
Foam pad land, I like that.
Right, so I'm going to place that there. And, you know, I think one of my kind of like things that I've been doing lately is white sentiments on a black background. It just makes everything else seem to pop out as well.
Doesn't it?
Which I like. And then we're going to add a few extra elements there. Just a few drops of glitter. When that dries, it just adds that little touch or something. And I will show you one that's slightly different that I did earlier. Obviously never going to be the same, but that was one using gems.
Okay.
So that's the one I've done, and this is the one that I did earlier on. So again, different colours, but if you see, they're very, very similar. I think that's pretty cool. So I'll hold those up. So you've either got that one or you've got that one. So you can, I'd say, change the colours and you know you could make a totally different card.
Yeah, that looks absolutely incredible. And I know you said obviously at home you're spending a little bit more time, but look what you've created in that very, very short period of time.
I mean, I would probably, if I had more time, I'd probably use glitter, gems on there, but you can get away with using stickles. If you don't have gems, that's great.
Yeah. You can do that for sure, absolutely. Love that one. There we go, thank you, Mark. That was using, well, a couple where the Bold Stamp collection, where you're going to be getting 20 stamps in total there, $29.99 or $42.99. It's a new launch for us on Crafters TV. You are going to be platinum price, $23.99 or $34.39. As I pointed out at the start of the show as well, even with visible image, you'll still get your Club Inspire on top of that one. So lovely big selection of different collections that we've got on the show today. So that one there, we've just gone over within that bundle. Then we're going to go over into the antisocial butterfly here. So this was another one where Mark done a demonstration earlier on Wake Up Call with this one. And with this one, you're going to get your 5 stamps here. And when I turn it around, you can see what you've got. Now, within the butterfly as well, you've got your 2 of them. This one, you've got your depth with having that script work, the wording really in the backdrop here. Layering them up, popping them flat, take lots and lots of ideas and inspiration from Mark. But within the set here, £10.79 or $15.65. That is giving you a saving of 10%. platinum, £8.63 or $12.52. Just to say, approaching 20%'s gone on that one, so just to keep that one in mind. And then some finished samples to see what you could be creating with this set. So you can see if you follow kind of the technique that Mark done a moment ago, you know, but using within the butterflies here, then you can then go in with your different looks. You can go in with even your maskings, or even just how different these ones. I think it's that way. There. Nope, I was right. There we go. That way. I was right that way. Look how different these both look. Isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. But then what about your tags? A real grungy colour with your tags. Or you can go in with your blues and your fuchsias. You can absolutely do that. Really, really nice ones where you've used some of your glitters, your glues, or of course another one here that looks completely different. That was going to be my last one, but actually I'm going to show this one as well. Look at that. Isn't that? And this just goes to show you can absolutely go to town on how creative you want to be, or you can be really elegant and sophisticated with what you create. So that one there is your antisocial butterfly, £10.79 or $15.65. Then what we are also going to be showing you is the better days ahead. So this one here, approaching 20%'s gone on this set here. 9 stamps in total, $10.79 or $15.65. Saving a 10%, but platinum comes down to £8.63 or $12.52. So really lovely sentiments there, a few different font styles as well, and little embellishment stamps within that set, making up the 9. And then you can be creating cards such as these ones here. So if you're going to be incorporating, you know, the antisocial butterfly, or maybe some of the stencils that we've also got on the show, keeping it quite simple, going in with your brights, with your blacks if you want to, tags as well, you can never go wrong with a tag, but of course going in with your golds, and this one using a stencil that we've got coming up as well. So that one there is your better days ahead. 9 stamps in total, £10.79 or $15.65. Fancy a little bit of Christmas? Let's go. 20%'s gone of this one here, and this one is Christmas Eve. Look at these ones. Christmas Eve stamp set with 10 stamps here, £10.79. $15.65, also giving you a saving of 10%, but platinum comes down to £8.63 or $12.52. As I was saying, 20%'s gone of that one here, and look at the difference in designs that you can create. You know, don't be scared when it comes to Christmas to go really dark, go bold with your dark colour. Bold with your dark colours? I know what I was meaning there. And going in there with your real dark colours that works really well. Break them up. That's a really fab idea. Really, really fab. You know, out in stores, you see your big home decor frames with kind of like your mirrors or your actual frameworks, different parts of the frame. Very much like that. A couple more as well for you to see. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to show this one, because this one, I think, is gorgeous. You can see that one there. I've got a couple other ones, but what I'll do is I'll keep you hanging on. We'll show you some new ones later on. So that one there is your Christmas Eve. We're going to go back now into our stencil collection now. This is new today. This one here, 30%'s gone of this bundle. You're going to get the 3 sets, but you've got different options within 1 or 2 of the stencils. This one here, you can then cherry pick from these 3 stenciled elements, although maybe you just want to actually even cherry pick little sections alone from each design. You can do that. You've got A to Z on this one here, once again, that full alphabet. And then we've also got within this one here, this is where you've got different elements being your branching out. Really nice for all seasons throughout the year, but then thinking, of course, going into your Halloween season. We'll show you these ones here. So if you're going to be using any of your pastes, of course, you can do that. I mean, look at that one there. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that one. Like a really good piece of home decor. Starry Night. Such a beautiful finished sample there. Then we're going in using some of your elements from what we've showed you already. We've got this one here. I love that one with your blues and your pinks together. I'm going to show you this one here because we do have t-shirt on the show as well. So that one is your 3-piece new stencil collection, $14.99 or $21.49. If you are platinum, that is $11.99 or $17.19. I think, or I believe, we're going to be using the stencils mark, are we? Or having a look?
Oh, no, we were good. Oh, yes.
You can do what you want.
We'll do. I'll tell you what.
You do, honestly.
Why not we do the
hang
hang in there?
Let's do it.
Do you know what? I think I said the wrong order.
No problem.
I was going to do it's my order's wrong. So yeah, we'll do the.
Not a problem.
We'll do the hang in there if that's all right.
Absolutely, of course we can.
Sorry to miss Ben around.
Don't apologise. Don't apologise.
Okay. Right. Just wanted to show those. Anybody who didn't see the show earlier on this morning, that was the card I created. So that was using the anti-social butterfly.
Yeah.
So please rewind and have a look at that if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show that one because obviously didn't get a chance for anybody who didn't see it. So right. Let's get on to this. Is a great set. The hang in there. Again, great focal image. You got you light up my world, hang in there. Brighter days are coming. Great, absolutely fantastic. You can do this lovely and gorgeous and bright, or you can maybe do a little bit more gothic, especially with Halloween coming. But again, it just works. So the first thing we'll do is I've already got a sprayed background. This was using the distress sprays, and I think it was squeezed lemonade and marmalade possibly mixed together. So I've just sprayed them now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it. Now, Helen probably said to me earlier on, oh, she wanted me to do this chandelier that way, but I don't listen to her. I want to do it that way around. I like it going up, so it's like opposite to what you would think. So we're going to do that. So I'm using my stamping platform again, and we're just going to place the image on there, and we'll ink this up. We'll use the VersaFine black ink. My ink of choice. You know, I have been known to use different colour inks. Sometimes I'll use like a dark brown. But I do like using my black ink. So
yeah.
I think it depends on what you're doing, what you're creating.
That's it.
Again, just go in, stamp your image, and I say, if you're not happy with how dark it is, or maybe your ink pad, needs re-inking. Sometimes you have to go in a couple of times, and also that sometimes whatever spray that you've used, it can react with the ink. So sometimes you think, oh, you've done something wrong, but it's not. Sometimes the ink does actually react with the sprays.
Okay.
So you have to go back in there anyway.
That's a really good point, actually, to point out. Yeah.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. I find that, especially with oxide inks. Not so much with the water-based inks, but with oxide inks, sometimes stamping and then embossing is a little bit more difficult. So you've got your nice, gorgeous black image there. And I'm going to clear emboss that.
The sharpness to detail on that chandelier, isn't it? That's exquisite.
So some clear embossing powder. Again, if anybody's watching and they want to make, why don't I use black? Because clear is just as good, and you don't get those speckles sometimes that you associate with the black embossing powder. So I tend to use the clear because it's more forgiving.
That's it. And then if you do have things like your pigment ink pads or your oxide ink pads, then you're kind of got your coloured embossing then anyway, haven't you? Just stamp it in colour and go over with your clear, and that's a good way of doing it.
Yes, you could actually be saving yourself money instead of having to buy lots of different colours.
Yeah. You really can. But then I'm thinking, even then, this one like in a silver or something, how beautiful that would look as well. Or even, at the bottom of the chandelier are glossy highlights or anything like that. That would look beautiful.
Now, also in the set you've got this, I would call this like a flourish, but it's great if you want to, say for instance, it was designed so that you could hang the chandelier off there if you wanted to, so I think I'll do that.
Yeah.
So we'll just, excuse my head whilst I line it up. Sometimes I can't, when I'm at home you can just look over, can't you? But when you've got a camera over your head, you're not quite sure about doing that. Right, okay, so I'm just going to stamp that round about there.
Many a times I go to do something or actually start something, then I'll either get George or Charlotte saying in her ear, can you move your head, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just quickly clear emboss that as well, just because I want to add a little bit more inks to that. So I don't want to, you know, if you don't, you're going to smudge your. I'm doing this before I've actually put any embossing powder on.
Okay. They've just said in my ear, Sarah calls it root cam because it sees the roots over here.
Oh, yeah. Or in my case now, as I'm getting older, my hair is definitely getting thinner. So
That's such a I get paranoid as well. I keep thinking that.
yeah, you know, there's no point. If it's going, it's going, and you know, I can't see the point in. There's not a lot you can do about it really.
Nope.
Except cut it short. You know, sometimes I think cropping your hair is works out better. Right, so we've got
Ben
a
does
lovely.
that.
I've got a lovely. Sorry.
Ben does that.
Right, so we've got this gorgeous image now, and I think we're going to add some extra elements to that. In the set, we've got some of these gorgeous circles, and I have used them before, but I'm going to use those again as well. So I'm going to stamp those circles in another colour. I tell you what, did I bring another colour? I did bring white. Right, I tell you what, we use some white ink on there, and we're going to stamp some circles, I think.
And you'll find, you know, you'll maybe go for a collection, and you'll maybe find that you'll use certain elements, you know, next week, next month, when you've brought out other collections, time and time again. What I mean by that is like the little circle you're using.
Yeah.
You know, you'll tend to find there's little stamps that you'll keep bringing in from previous collections.
Yeah.
In the work.
Oh, you know, I always do that, and I, you know, these were designed so they would work across different sets as well. Sorry, I changed my mind. I was going to do it in white. I decided, no, I'm not going to do it in white. I'll do it in a different colour, because you can do that. So I'm going to stamp there. Again, this is just, you know, you don't want it too in your face, and you know, it's less is sometimes more, you know.
Yeah.
So just highlight some of those details there.
Now I know Helen's actually just nipped out, which is good, because I'm away to say I actually like the way that you've done that more. I do.
Don't tell her.
I do.
Don't tell her. Okay. It's our secret until she watches it back later on, all right?
I get a message from her.
Right, I think we're done with that for the moment. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put it on my card, and we'll do some more to it now. So, again, this is, you can be as bright as you want for these sets, or you can be as, you know, a gothic, because there's a nice gothic card there in dark greys as well, with using the same stamp set, which is gorgeous, I think. I can't remember, it was somebody on the design team did it. It's like in the dark grey.
Dark. Oh yeah, we'll show you some of these just shortly.
So we're going to put that round about there.
Yeah, just what I think the layout you've done on that one, if I just envision if that chandelier has fallen down and it's just like an explosion.
Yes,
of,
it could be,
of colour.
Shall I go for some gems today? Shall I
go for it?
Go for it, shall I? Okay. This is one of those fiddly things. I did. I bought some gems, and then I bought one. I didn't understand what this pencil thing was for, and then I realised that it's to try and pick up the gems when you're doing it by hand. So, because it's really hard otherwise. So I'm just going to a few blobs. I mean, you don't actually have to put them onto the chandelier, just around in a randomness. It makes it shine more, you know. I'll try and remember where all these went now. So, right.
That's it. That's the thing. When you get your stamps home, and you know, and it goes for anything, whether it's stamps or paper pads or dies. When you get them home, you can be as creative as you want. You can put your embellishments where you want. You know what I mean? You can stamp it wherever you want. That's up to you. And that's one of the things I love about stamping as well.
No, I forgot where one went now. Somebody at home will say, "Oh, top right" or somewhere like that, but I don't know. Oh, there's one there. Do we want another couple there? We'll put one or two more on there. Just because. I never used to be a glittery person, but I kind of, my tune has changed as I've grown as a crafter.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go full out glitter, and then other times I don't.
See, I don't use glitter a lot, but I do use gems quite a lot. Yeah, I do use them quite a lot.
I nearly lost that one again. If you're doing them one at a time, you know where you're putting stuff, but if you dot in the glue, okay, so we're happy with that now. Now, the other thing is, I've got one of the sentiments that I created. This is I'm using the Brighter Days Are Coming, so I think that's going to look perfect just there like that.
It is, isn't it?
Again, these are very, positive kind of sentiments, that they mean a lot to a lot of people. So it's nice to be able to, to share that with people as well. Because it's great for, this could be a card for somebody who's going through a hard time.
Yeah, yeah. And it'll kind of give them that double smile, that double boost. They'll smile, they'll feel happy when they receive that handmade card.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, it's lovely, don't get me wrong, it's lovely doing, with love or thinking of you. And I send them with sentiments like that. But to have some that are really strong when it comes to the bold sentiment, brighter days are coming. It's not things that you see a lot. So it's really going to lift their spirits.
And I'm just going to put a couple more gems on there. I think we're done with that then. I've gemmed out then. You won't see any more gems for a while.
No, that's it.
I'll give you a rest, everybody.
You've done the gems now.
Right, yeah. I've broken my gemness on here. Right. Okay.
At least you can say, well, I did use gems on Crafters TV.
Yes. Claim to fame. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So, we have this gorgeous card. I might end up putting a few gems on after, but you get the idea of where we're going with that.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Really love that. And you think, you could do what Mark's done there with Brighter Days Are Coming. You can use one of the other stamps as well. You've got the options. That's entirely up to you. Feel creative control when it comes to yourself. Just to quickly pick up on as well, Mark, if you're making and selling, is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, just make and sell, which is always good. And if you were to replicate what Mark's just done there, it's going to look completely different every time, because if you do that water backdrop, it's not going to flow the same way, is it? So it's always nice to think of when it comes to that way. Hang in there stamp set with 9 stamps, $10.79, $15.65. You're getting that saving of 10%, but platinum comes down to $8.63 or $12.52. Right, while we're going to go over to the next one, but I just thought I would show you that card that Mark was talking about. You can see here, just with the hang in there. I'll just show you just a couple while we're here, just so you can see. Really, really fab. Look at that one there. Last one for now. I just want to show you while I had them to the side. There we go. So that was your hang in there. So, what we're going to do is we're now going to be having a look now at nothing to wear. So I thought I had that to the side. Here we go. So let's bring this one in here. If you go back and watch Wake Up Call, afterwards, of course, you'll see such a fab demo that Mark had done here. Lots and lots of options. That is a full blank t-shirt, so you can put whatever design you want into the middle if you want to. 11 stamps in total, $10.79, $15.65 with your saving of 10%. But look at these ones, whether it's for the boys, whether it's for the girls, of course, it could be the other way around if you want. Going to punk, completely different. You can absolutely do that. So there we've got all these different ideas. You can be doing nothing to wear, $10.79, $15.65. So what kind of word we're going to show you just now? So that one there, and I had them all to hand. You'd think I had them all lined up. We're going to go into one kind word. Here we go. This is it. There we are. Go there. So we've got one kind word here. This one being 10 stamps in total. This one here, it's a really cool typewriter here. This one here, 10% stock has gone within this one, $10.79 or $15.29, just so that you can see as well it is the typewriter, but then you can have all these words stamped coming out, or you can do tiny little sentiments if you want to into the back of the typewriter. Always think about your masking as well. It's one of my favourite techniques when it comes to stamping, mask bits out. But you've got fab sentiments too. So that one there, $10.79, $15.29. Another few examples for you to see. Really, really nice. Get even dimension there. You can see roll of paper as if it's coming out there. Platinum price for this stamp set, $8.63 or $12.23. Right, we're going to have a look at a few very, very popular stamp sets from Christmas this year from Mark and Visible Image. So we're going to have a look at Christmas Robin. So let's bring in this set here. So Christmas Robin, 10 stamps in total, $10.79, $15.65, saving of 10%. So this one here is backed by popular demand. What I specifically love about this one, not just the design and the robin, but it's not often that you'll get the holly where you've also got the berries and the holly that is separate. So that would look really, really fab. This would actually also complement our Crafter's Companion 'Tis the Season collection if you want to. Think about them as well. Don't always think about them as just stamping and only stamping and inking them. Think about maybe other collections you've got that they might tie in really well with. But that one there is backed by popular demand. Few things that you can be doing with them that we can see here. Love that. And of course, don't always just think about your red, green and gold. You can go all contemporary. Actually, wait to show you this one here. This is using the technique of masking, I believe. Isn't that fab? Christmas Robin, $10.79, $15.65. This one we're going to do, and when I bought my full Christmas collection from Visible Image when they first launched. In actual fact, I pre-ordered them because I know Mark does that on his website. I pre-ordered them beforehand. This was the very, very first stamp set that I had made a card from, and this one is Let It Snow. This is giving you your 6 stamp sets, or 6 stamps here, $10.79 or $15.65, giving you the saving of 10%, but that snowflake is huge. Lovely sentiment. You've got a few little diddy snowflakes as well, but even that little bit of snowfall as well that you can then be getting creative with. Look at these ones here. And before I forget as well, your design team, Mark, absolutely phenomenal.
Every time I see their stuff, you know, they've raised the bar so high that there's no way I can even reach it. So yeah, they're stunning cards.
Yeah, I'd hate to even attempt to do a name check because there's so many incredible cards and projects. All that I would say, please go across onto social media for Visible Image. Make a point of seeing what everyone makes because it is absolutely beautiful. That one there is your Let It Snow stamp set, $10.79. $15.65. Last one for now before we go back to Mark. Let's have a look at the stencils. This is the stencil set, 3-piece new stencil collection. Are they the ones you're about to have a look at next? The stencil collection.
Yeah, the stencil collection. But I'm going to use the A to Z. So
right.
I'm going to use that one next.
So approaching third of the stock of this one here, we have got all 3 of them, $14.99 or $21.49. You're saving over 15% when it comes to this stencil set. I'll just show you a few for now. I'm going to go to the bottom here, just where I've not shown these ones. That one there, bringing in some previous collection from Mark. And we've got the stencils on the back. So I'll leave it there just for a moment because I very, very, very quickly just want to read a few comments. So many lovely comments coming through, Mark, for all of your designs. We have got, now I've seen this question, and I was actually having a look while you were demoing there. Eve B is saying, Mark, is the mouth stamp in the Nothing to Wear approximately the same size as this mouth, meaning the half lady? So
the Nothing to Wear.
So the Nothing to Wear. So it's the T-shirt one, wasn't it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's not quite the same size. So you can't. You can't really get away with you could try and get away with using that, but it doesn't quite work because obviously the kind of grin or the kind of lip biting on there probably wouldn't work with the, so it's not quite the same, but you know, if you want to give it a go, please I think it's too big.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Because the lips on one was sized for the T-shirt.
Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, got
So,
ya.
yeah.
So there we go. As you were saying earlier on as well, I suppose it's only a little bit of card, so feel free to get creative.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun with it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there
I would
we
have.
go.
I'd have some fun. And does it really matter? You could do something kind of a bit more abstract. It look really cool as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all the fun, isn't it? Nice designs is saying Trinkles. Barbara is saying how beautiful. Eve B saying using the clear was a game changer for our cards. The embossing powder saying Mark best tip. Evelyn saying I love the background. What is the adhesive backing Mark is using on his cards, please?
Okay, right. Basically, sometimes when I need to stick something very sticky, I will use maybe I don't know whether you sell ATG guns. It's for people know it's one of these big sticky guns.
Yeah.
And then to save time when I'm sticking things on, I'll use when you print labels out, the label sheets, the waxy side of the label sheets. I will stick my card onto that so I can use it later. So I use it later on.
Brilliant.
So it comes off. Yeah. So wax paper. If you're in a rush and you need to demonstrate, if you're demonstrating, wax paper on the back.
Perfect. And just because this is the last question here for now, Melanie is saying I may have missed it, but what kind of cardstock was Mark using today?
I'm using the Centura Pearls Snow White, I think. Yes, Snow White.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pearly on one side and it's just plain on the other. I like that because it gives me the option of what side I want to use.
Perfect. Yeah, excellent. We may have that, funny enough, actually, on Craft Along later on tonight. Right, that's it. I'm going to be quiet for now. Mark, it's over to you.
Okay, so what I'm going to use is the A to Z stencil, or A to Z if you're in the USA. Helen says A to Z, I don't know why, but we say A to Z. No difference really, same word, same letter. I love this stencil because it is a frameless stencil, so people with jelly plates and everything, it works really well with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've already got a spritz background. Most people have got some kind of backgrounds that they've got lying around spare, and I'm just going to place it over the top of my background. Again, this is for the background, so you don't have to be, you don't have to size your card exactly to the stencil. I normally don't. I'll just get it to fit what I want to be doing. I'm just going to stick this down quickly whilst I'm going to put some texture paste through it.
Okay.
I think have I used texture? No, I haven't used texture paste today. So again, I do like using texture paste. So I'm using some kind of grit. Maybe I did use texture. I did use texture paste earlier on.
With a little circle.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I correct myself. I did. I've forgotten that. So this is a grit texture paste, but use anything you want. I've used translucent, I've used all kinds of texture paste. It's just like having fun. Again, I try not to be too exact when you're doing this, because afterwards, especially if you want to add elements to it, spray it afterwards. Because it's part of the background, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. You were saying yourself that, sometimes you just pick certain elements out and you use those pieces.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. It's just going through where I think I want to go with the stencil, and then we'll stop there.
That's the thing with stencils. It's it's just the creative options that you get with them.
Oh, totally. So let me I'll peel this off my hand now.
For your stencils, is there a specific way that you would clean them or wash them, or?
Just water in the sink, cold water normally. I've heard, I don't know why. Somebody's told me once it should be cold water and not hot water, but I don't know whether I've ever tried it with hot water. I just always use cold water. Save the planet as well.
That's it, true.
I can't afford the heat now.
Well, I know, exactly, yeah. Everyone's cold water at the moment.
So, let me just mop this up. Sorry about this, everybody.
No, not at all, not at all.
So, just going to wipe while I clean this up. Now, you would normally let this dry for half an hour or so, but again, I really don't have the time for that. So I'm going to jump onto one that I've already dried.
Okay.
Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. I will dry it. We've got time for that. I'll quickly dry it. This stuff does dry quite quickly as well.
Oh, that's fab.
And whilst it's drying, I'll tell you what I can do. I'll multitask. I'll dry with one hand and show you other samples I've done with the other hand.
That would be
So,
good.
so this is one I used with crackle paste through the stencil, and then I just spritzed it afterwards with some sprays. I think that's really nice. This is one I did with powdered paints, the Brusho kind of type powdered paints. Again, very subtle. This one I did, which I'm going to use, is obviously that I'll have to just show it there. Look at that. Yeah. Isn't it gorgeous?
It really
Again,
is.
that's using texture pastes, some glitter, glue as well. Again, just have fun when you're doing this, and this is great. This is where you learn and play. And the last one, which is one of my favourites, is I've used book pages on the piece of paper, and then I've put texture paste through that, like a translucent paste, and let it dry as well, and I think that looks really nice. Again, it's very subtle but very cool looking.
It really, really is. I have to say, actually, the time has actually flown, and we've only got about 5 minutes left.
Wow, okay,
So,
that's fine. We'll zip past this now, and we'll go on to the next
demo of
section.
the show.
I want to finish the card off. So.
Yeah, please do. That would be
right,
great.
okay, so we'll move that on to the next part. So I've already got one that I've dried, and the one I'm using is this one, which I showed you earlier. I've got my card blank, and do you know what? This is the first time I didn't stick this one down, did I? So I will use my crafter's tape today, because I'm going to be quick. So, and crafter's tape is great. If you're in a rush and you're card making in batches, then this is the way to go.
Yeah.
Especially quick speed, you know, you're done. So let me stick this onto my card. Just choose where you want it. Again, you know, it's experimenting. You know, when you're creating something, these are just all experiments, and it's about having fun, and that's what I like to do. So the other part of this is I've already cut and stamped out the typewriter from the One Kind Word set. Again, it's a great set. So I'm going to stick that onto my card. And again, I tell you what, no, I'll leave that for a second. Let me stick the word, I've put a sentiment, I've stamped the sentiment, one sentiment's in there as well. We've got one kind word can change someone's entire day. Isn't that very true?
So true, isn't it?
So let's just stick this on here. Again, I'm doing that, you know, embossed white writing on black card again. I go through phases. Sometimes I'm just using white card and black ink, and sometimes it's the other way around.
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm doing, but I do like that kind of look. Only one other thing I want to do with this is I do have I'm going to, in the set, you've got lots of other words as well. And this one says, because this will kind of go with one kind word can change someone's day. So what I'll do is I'll stamp in there with "You're amazing." You can see that, right? Just get it right.
It's such a smart typewriter.
So that's that one done, and we'll glue that as well. I don't know where the time's gone. It just flies by, doesn't it? So, and then again, with the alphabet stencil behind, I think that all just works amazingly.
It really does.
So, again, it's hard not to see the bling.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that, yeah.
There.
Look at that. That is absolutely fab.
And who wouldn't like a card like that? You
Exactly.
know, whether for male or female cards, so yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were having a look and focusing there on the 3-piece new stencils, but Mark was just using a few elements as well from some of the collections from today. That one was the 3-piece new stencil collection, $14.99 or $21.49. Let's have a quick look at the three that you're getting within the set. So this was the one that Mark was using a moment ago with all of the alphabets. You've got A to Z. Then you've also got your branch out. I think I've just said Z there now as well, haven't I? To Z. And we've also got our off the grid as well. Use them all, cherry pick sections, it's entirely up to you. $14.99 or $21.49, saving over 15%. Rightio, we better do a demo of the show, shouldn't we? So we've got, Mark, if I can ask you if you could line up your few demos from this show. And I have got Did Becky do these 3? Did she? Sort of. Oh, gosh.
3.
Thanks, Ben. I should just tell you, Ben just said in my ear, well, you should know, you were on the show. Should do, here we go. So let's go in. So we'll start off with what Becky has been creating. So number 1, you can see she used with her fabrics as well. So there's number 1. We've then got number 2. So that was using the fabrics, but also using our launch day multimedia dies. And then number 3, the little pocket with the fabrics as well as the multimedia dies. So that was number 3. Then we'll go over to Mark, who's got his lined up. So we'll start off where we'll go from left to right. So the lady in the blue, that is number 4. Then your chandelier is number 5. And then what Mark's just done there a moment ago is number 6. So 3 from Becky, 3 from Mark, 1 to 6. Then choice is up to you. Becky, 1, 2 or 3. Mark, 3, 4 or 5. So Susie T will get these tallied up as they come through. Right, we can set them ones to the side, and we're going to have another look at some of the collections that Mark's just brought. He's come in with the bold stamp, so that one, set that one to, here we go, right at the side of me here. So this is where we've got that gorgeous lady's face. Half face there. Just to point out as well, Mark did touch upon and actually showed it within Wake Up Call earlier on. This stamp set, is it this one here, Mark?
Yes.
Works really well with the other side of the lady's face.
It does.
It can work really, really well together. So you are getting the 3 stamp sets, bold stamp collection, 20 stamps in total, $29.99 or $42.99, saving over 15%. But if you're platinum, you're going to get that all for $23.99 or $34.90. We can see few ideas in which you can make with these ones. So bold or pastel. You can take a few more just from the bottom. I mean, this one here, DL card that you've got here.
Oh, that shows both using the, yeah.
Yeah, that's just what was on about there, so how well that works. Designed perfectly and really, really simple. But I adored that one. There we go. So that is that one there, being the bold stamps. And then last but by no means least, let's have a look now at our Lost in Music, which is here. So let's bring this one in. So this is where you're going to be paying for the stamp set, and then what you're going to be doing is getting the stencil for free. So Lost in Music stamp set with the collision stencil, 11 stamps and a stencil included. Both of these, $11.99 or $17.39, saving over 30% on that little bundle there. Platinum, $9.59 or $13.91. And you can be making beautiful cards, projects, home decors. Don't forget, you can always start to incorporate them with your scrapbooking, someone that loves some music that we can see here. But think of the techniques that Mark's shown you so far today. Think of the techniques that he showed you on previous shows where he's been here, and start to incorporate these techniques too. There we go, there's 2 different ones. How lovely are they? So there we go. So that is your Lost in Music. So just while we just wait for the result coming in, we've got Mary Pat is saying, this is gorgeous. I really love the chandeliers. Going back to Mark's middle demonstration. Ivy is saying, what a demo. Absolute winner, Mark. That was actually referring to that middle demo as well, with the chandelier. So you never know. It might be. Evelyn is saying the Christmas Robin was her favourite Christmas stamp set. And Ivy is saying how versatile that the stamps stencils are. Mary Pat saying, wow, that is going to Mark's last demo, although it's wow for all of them. And also with Mark's last demo, Evelyn is saying, oh wow, that looks great. Right, the result is in. I'm going to leave you just for a couple of seconds and just say we've got Craft Along coming up next. So Becky is going to be on this side for the 3 hours. We've got Mark is going to be up for the first hour. So he's going to be here 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Then I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours, where it is going to be our Christmas Nest and Die Craft Along. Susie Tay saying it was super close between 2, 4 and 5. Mark has done it again, and it is number It's number 4. It was his first demo that he done, the lady in blue.
Oh, right. Cool.
There we go. So that's going to go, well, Mark's going to go up against himself from Wake Up Call earlier on for demo of the day. Now, I'll still see Mark later on and telling the remainder of the day, but for me being on this side, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And although you're on the first hour, I will be sitting and watching as well till I get ready for mine. So thank you so, so much. Amazing comments coming through so far. Mark's still got another hour to go with these invisible. They're not invisible. They're certainly not invisible. Visible image stamp and stencil collection with Becky. So go and grab now, well, your tea or your lunch, and we will see you in an hour's time for the last show of this Friday. That is, of course, Craft Along with Mark as well. See you then. Bye.